of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-277-7310. 800-277-7310. 800-277-7310.
No better time to enter the Dime Small Business Challenge. You could win $10,000 for your small business. All the info is at 1010wins.com/challenge.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 58 degrees at 440. I'm Lori Metten, and here's what's happening. They were fast and furious and stealing cars and their parts in just moments. And now authorities say they've put a Bronx crew out of business. A body has been found in the rubble of the South Ozone Park house that collapsed during a fire, and which is a crime scene after an alleged domestic incident. Homecrest Brooklyn will be getting shored up against intense rainstorms and all the flooding under a new mitigation project. Suffolk County cops sporting a souped-up Corvette today seized from a convicted drunk driver. Billie Eilish bringing a pop-up celebrating her upcoming 3D concert movie to Midtown. 1010 Wins AccuWeather says we'll see a shower around tonight, then clearing late, low 46. Sunshine tomorrow, followed by increasing clouds, high 64. With Nissan 441 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, the ride out of Manhattan is horrific right now. The northbound West Side Highway into 160 the breakdown's got the right lane blocked. It's just about gone, but it's done the damage, hasn't it? You're slow from the 50s on up on the West Side Highway. You're still better off on Riverside Drive or Broadway and then getting back on the west side just before the George. East side of Manhattan, well, the northbound ride's not much better. And on the southbound FDR, you're east of 70th Street. They're getting rid of a collision. Now, the citybound side of the George, maybe an extra couple of minutes on the upper lower's better. The West Side Highway, again, awful. Northbound D and best out of the Bronx. Lincoln, 30 to 40 minutes in. Out of town, you want 9th Avenue. It's close to 45 minutes home from 11th Avenue. 9th is not nearly that bad. Holland Tunnel is. It's at least 40 to 45 minutes out on the Jersey side of the Holland.
Hello, Samuel Reyes. Hello, Chicopee Radio. 1380, that's a local station. I forgot what's the call sign. Let me see. Then over here is here's a religious station. Oh no, my bad. I have to do this. Oh, I forgot. I gotta do this because this is an old receiver. I have to go 1 megahertz up here first, and then my bad. Let me do this. I have to go 1 up. No, 1 up. Okay, there you go. Yeah, this is an older receiver. I forgot. 1380. Yeah, Korean. Yeah, KDM. There you go. Thank you, KDM. I don't know. Sometimes it's too noisy. She's noisy right now. Very noisy. Yeah, exactly. Radio Korea. Korea. What is it called? Anyway, it's Korean Christian. I think it is or something. Yeah. Anyway, that's right. Thank you, Chicopee. WKDM. 1380. Sometimes it's very noisy. Lately here, the last year, it's been very noisy above 1280. I get a lot of noise, especially with the end. That's the end fed. Right here, I get a lot of noise. Just get a lot of noise. It's, you know, medium wave lately in this area, I hate to say it, is really going down. Even with the MFJ 1886 loop, it's been struggling to listen to AM all day. Yeah, it's also Spanish. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Chicopee. Hey, they do have Spanish programming. Yeah, because I do. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. So how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I know. I'll talk about that in a minute. I know my friend lost a beautiful member of his family. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Because I don't want to talk about something like that if he's not here, and you know what I mean. I want to give him I want to respect his privacy. So that's why I don't want to talk about that here. And so if he decides he wants to come out here, we'll talk about it. You know, he wants to talk about it, then, you know. But I'm not gonna. I don't. You know. Right now, the you know, he lost a beautiful member of his family. Like anything, like anybody else in your family, you know, it's a, you know, whether it's a dog or a cat, it's a member of your family. So I don't own any pets, but I can only imagine, you know. So I'll leave it at that, and if he wants to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. All right, because I don't want to start off with that. I mean, you know what I mean. I shouldn't say that. I just, you know, if he's comfortable, then if he comes on here, or not, I'll give you my opinion later. If you know what I mean. I'm here for him. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm here for him. You know. And of course, I love him. He's you know, awesome member of this channel. So yeah. So how's everybody doing? Samuel Reyes doing okay. Chicopee Ready doing okay. How's your radio, Chicopee? How you enjoying your server now? Now that you have your own server, I'll give you my take on mine while you tell me yours. Right now, since I took it off the map, it's been very quiet, a lot more peaceful. It's a lot more quiet now. I had it on yesterday for a while. I know you was on a couple of times. Maybe that's it. It is very quiet and peaceful now. Now I have no idiots. Hanging around the server all day. It's been very quiet and peaceful. So, you know. Hello, Andy. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, yesterday I did a live stream from Lowe's. I was gonna clean the garage, but it turned out to be a nice day overall yesterday. It did rain in the evening, but we went to Lowe's. I did a quick live stream. It was like 30-minute live stream. Let me turn off this fan because I don't want to interfere with the microphone. Hope my audio is okay. So I went to Lowe's, you know, of course, not the best quality when you do the phone and using 5G. So I saw the replay. It was not the best quality. Because also when you're moving around, when you're doing streaming from a phone with 5G, you got to stay still. And the problem is I have to walk around in there. And the quality's not that good. That's the way it was in Central. That's the way it was in Times Square when I did that live stream last year with my phone outside. The quality's not going to be the best because it's 5G. And my phone is not the best phone. It's not a top-notch phone. It's not like the latest Samsung or the latest iPhone. It's not that. You know, I'm thinking about investing a camera, like a streaming camera at some point, but not now. I don't want to break the bank on it. I did try the GoPro. I did buy GoPro a few years ago. It was about, I think it was like 4 years ago. I did buy GoPro. I tried it out. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like it was worth the money for, you know, because most of my videos, honestly, it's on a tripod and I'm reviewing something, opening up a radio or something, or I'm tuning a thing. So you don't need a high quality camera for all that. The only time a real good camera is going to come in handy is when you're moving a lot. If you're moving a lot, that's when your phone is not going to be good enough for that. I feel like, you know, if you're moving a lot and you're outside, the phone is not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it. It's not, for me. It didn't. It wasn't. It's not cutting it. So that's why I hold off on that. But now I want to do more walking videos, like more what they call walkthrough videos. I want to do a lot more of that. And I noticed that my phone it's not up to par. It's not. Although I will be getting a gimbal. I think I'm gonna order it today. I've been putting off things that I wanted to order. I was gonna order the Meshtastic thing, but I'm gonna put that on hold. 'Cause I was looking at a few more things. I said, you know what? I think James Farley was the one I told. Do you really need it right now? No, I don't need the Meshtastic right now. That could wait. I know Todderberg just got his, and he made a review on his Meshtastic radio. Although in my case, I'm looking into more Meshcore. But the problem with the Meshcore is that, like, when Elmer Time was here, he has a repeater also. I would like to put a Meshcore repeater here because we're in this whole area, New York City and Yonkers, there's only a couple of repeaters in Manhattan. And I think one is in Queens, and that's it. And here in Westchester County, there's nothing. There's nothing. The whole Westchester County, there's not one Meshcore repeater right now. So you know, I've been thinking about this since last year. I would like to get a Meshtastic. But actually, for the channel, I think I really need the gimbal. I want to try the gimbal. I'm looking for some. I'm looking at. I think it's about $50 now. I'm looking around $50 or $60 for the gimbal, and then after that, I'm probably gonna get a new phone. I'm probably gonna get a new phone for. That's the next step. I'm just gonna get a new phone. You know, we're talking about phone that I'm looking at right now is about $700. $700, at least $700. Probably one of the latest Galaxy phones. Probably not even the latest, but it has to be a step up from what I have now. What I have now is good, but it's not 8K. It barely does 4K. I noticed, like my wife's phone, she has a pretty good phone. Her phone, actually, even when you walking, is a lot better. My phone, when it comes to walking, as I saw the stream yesterday, it's not that good. So if I want to do more walking videos, or now I'm going to have to invest in a dedicated camera for that. So, yeah. So Chicopee Radio says, I would love to get a Galaxy myself once my dad switches to T-Mobile. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm probably looking into getting a Galaxy. Right now, the one I have is pretty old. It's about it's a little over 5 years old now, I believe. It's the A20. What is it? A20. I can't remember exactly. I think it's A23, or I forgot which one it is. Anyway, it's not the S series, because Galaxy has the A series. So this is just a notch below the S series. So, you know, I'm gonna go to the flagship series now. Now, if Samsung wants to sponsor, hey, I'll go with Samsung, and you know, Samsung can you know, drop me a phone here. Samsung, so you know, if you're watching Samsung, my email is in the you know, hit me up, let me know. And of course, it has to be unlocked. It has to be unlocked because, I mean, I do have T-Mobile. That's my provider. My provider is T-Mobile, so that's the only provider I go with. I don't want Verizon. Don't care for Verizon. I am not a fan of AT&T. T-Mobile. T-Mobile all the way, baby. Woo! Yeah, T-Mobile. Chicopee Radio, I am a modding type of guy, and I would love to have that phone. We'll be able to mod it. Yeah, that's the other thing. That, well, again, we go back to, do you like Android or iOS? I'm not a fan of iOS. I was never a fan of iOS. I don't like the fact that they lock the system too much. I know you can jailbreak some of it, and you can jailbreak it until you do the next update. Then, you know, I remember jailbreaking my old iPhone. and then you need that update, and as soon as you do that update, you have to jailbreak it again, or you have to wait till they come up with a new jailbreak for the new version of the update, and then just to use a couple of apps that honestly. So you know why I do like Android. There is more. By the way, even software wise, game wise, software game wise, software universe wise, Android's a lot bigger than iPhone. Then Android's going to be a lot bigger than Apple. Always software selection. They always makes app when you're doing a phone app. When people design a phone app, you're gonna design it for the biggest market. Android's the biggest market. Then it'll be Apple. I had an iPhone. I had this iPhone before. I had this iPhone jailbroken before. It was not for me. Yeah, I'm talking about years ago. I had not recent iPhone. I'm talking about years ago. Maybe going back 10 years. 10 years. I haven't had an iPhone in years, but it was like 10 years ago. I forgot what number iPhone, and I remember jailbreaking was the big deal. Woo, you jailbreaking, now it's like, who cares? I don't care about jailbreaking anymore. Of course, for example, with Android, there's some apps I do like to download that are not, how should I say, that are not listed in the Google or not I shouldn't say they're not approved the Google Play Store. So you know what I mean, like unknown apps, like for example the streaming apps, a lot of the streaming apps, like the ones for the Fire Stick, they're considered unknown source app, so you have to be careful with some of those things. You know what I mean. But it's rarely, now when it comes to like security, for example, I say it all the time, not to brag about it, but I don't use a VPN. You know why? Because I don't click on links. I don't click on links I'm not supposed to click on links. I don't go to websites where I don't go to websites where you should not be going to. I don't do the dark web shit. Sorry, PG rating out the window. Boop! Sorry, I just said the word. I don't do dark web stuff. Some people go to the dark web and do. I don't care about any of that. That's not for me. I don't care about it. I don't go to sites, especially on my main computer, on my main phone. I don't go to sites where you normally should not go to. You shouldn't go to them. That's it. That's the big one. Is that don't click on if you get email that you don't know who's coming from, you know what that means? That means that it's probably not good to open it. Do not download attachments. That's a big one. If you get an email and it has attachments and you don't know who this is coming from, delete the email. Delete the email before you start. Click on it. No, delete the email. I take it a step further. Not only I delete it, I go into the trash bin and I empty it out. That way there is no doubt not to come back and try to retrieve that email. I just say, you know what? I don't know who this person is. Why are you sending me this attachment? No, I'm not opening attachments, because I've seen that happen when people open up an attachment and they got malware. Or some people claim they got hacked. So I do not open attachments. If you don't know who like for example, if I tell you, Jacoby, I'm gonna send you a photo. I'm gonna send you an image of this. I'm gonna attach it to this email. You know it's coming from me. Then you should be expecting email from me with the attachment. That's it. Now, if you get attachments from random people, don't open them. That's a flag. That means that somebody's trying to send you something. And when you click on that attachment, that's it. Of course, also with the DX web serving thing. Now this is a big one. This is This one is shaky because if you know about web servers and you know how to set up domain names and all that, right now, for example, my DX web server, right, I don't have HTTPS. So, you know, if you go to a website, they don't have HTTPS, you're going to get that warning on your browser. Do you know, like, especially the first time you go to that website, are you sure you want to go to this website because it doesn't look secure? That scares 99% of all people. And you should be scared of it. But in my case, like, for example, my web server here, I don't have HTTPS. Not for the duck domain, not for the duck DNS domains. I don't have HTTP because remember that URL is the one with the port number, and that one Cloudflare does not give me HTTPS. Now, if you go to DannyRadioTech.com, that domain, Cloudflare gave me the HTTPS certificate for that one. So when you go to my main website, that one, you don't get the warning. But if you go to my FMDX web server for the very first time, you're going to get that warning. And you should get that warning. Now you have to decide, do I want to go to just an HTTP website? And if you trust the website, like, you know, it's my site, then you're okay. I say, okay, you know, I know Danny. Even though he doesn't have the security certificate on his domain, it's safe to go to site. So that's when you have to be smart. Now, if you go to a website that you have no idea who this website is, and you go ahead and go to that website, now you put yourself at risk. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, let me put the, now I'm hot. I may just, you know what, I'm going to take off my sweat. I'm sorry. Because it's humid today. It was humid. We went shopping today, so yeah, so it's humid. I don't have the air conditioner on yet. I don't want to put it on. It's too early in the year for that. I'm trying to keep it at least till maybe the end of May, which is tomorrow. May 1st is tomorrow. So I don't want to start blowing up the electricity on the already on the AC. We just went through the whole furnace thing over the winter. But yeah, so wow, really hot. Wow. So yeah, so like, so especially FMDX web server, a lot of URLs are gonna be like that. They're gonna be like they're not gonna have the what they call the SSL, or you know, they're not gonna have the HTTPS. Okay, so when you go to a website like that, you might get that warning on your browser saying this, like this, you know, they know it might be malicious. Do you still want to continue to the site? Because I had somebody message me on Discord. I think it was FMDX, or he told me, you know, I'm getting this warning going to your website. I usually mimic I don't know why I mimic other people's voices, even though it's probably not his voice. So I replied, no, you don't have to worry about it. I just don't have the security certificate. Or I don't have the HTTPS certificate for that. That's all. Because sometimes you have to, if you have, depending on what registrar your domain is on, you get that for free. And some places, they want you to pay for it. So me, I'm not paying for no HTTPS. I hosted many websites over the years and many web servers, and I never paid for HTTPS. Either my domain name registrar provides it for me, or my hosting server software does it, or I use Cloudflare, because Cloudflare has a free HTTPS. So if you have a domain name and you want HTTPS, you can get it through Cloudflare for free, and it's free. You know, so now for the you know, think Cloudflare does not do custom ports. Cloudflare only does port 80. It only does the basic ports, like port 80, port 21, 443, which is SSL. I believe port 8080 also. No, not port 88. Excuse me. No, port 8080. Port 80, 443, 21, 23. And there's another one. 22. I think 22, that's it. I don't think they do any other. The rest of it, they consider it custom port. So that, they do have a service for that, but you got to pay. So that's why, for example, I cannot have like Danny Radio Tech. I could make a subdomain like dx.dannyradiotech.com and forward to my radio. I tried that. The problem is the port. My port right now is, what I'm not gonna say it right here, but my port is, my port. So the free account of Cloudflare doesn't allow custom port, so I can't do it. Now if I pay for the Cloudflare, the next tier, and then I can do custom port, then I could get rid of that port number. But I keep it, you know why? Because I can switch it around whenever I want, and it's okay, it's not a big deal. And by the way, that's good for people like me. I can do my own port forwarding whenever I want. I can control my router. Some people don't have that luxury of controlling, of doing port forwarding. There is some ISPs that they don't want you to do port forwarding. Or if you have a really basic plan, they don't allow, because some people, some people that is technical to do port forwarding. That does fall under, actually, port forwarding is a network admin function. So if you can do port forwarding, that means you understand about networks. Now, port forwarding does come in handy if you do other servers, not only FMDX web server, but Minecraft server, Roblox, all these other, a lot of games have their own ports. So if you do a lot of gaming and you're hosting a lot of game servers and all that, port forwarding, you're gonna have to learn port forwarding, because some games if you're gonna set up a server, and yeah, you're gonna need port forwarding. You're gonna need all that. But for most people, no. Not for most people. So yeah, you have to be smart when you go on the internet. People think that just because you have a VPN, that's it. No, it doesn't work that way. That's a false sense of security. False sense of security is when you tell people I got a VPN and that's it. No, there's more. VPN. It's like, for example, it's like I'll give you an analogy, and it might not be the best analogy in the world, but here goes. It's like, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna modify the analogy. It's like, for example, like me. For example, I'll give you an example. I'm very when I touch anything outside, I have wipes, disinfecting. I always wipe my hand. I'll obviously try to wash your hands a lot, that type of thing. Don't try not to touch your face. At least after you wash your hands, it's okay. But some people think, no, just because I got inoculated by whatever, I can still do whatever I want. No, that's not the way it works. You still have to behave, and you also have to wash your hands and do things like that. You know what I mean? I was gonna go another route, but I'm not doing that because it's for this. That's more for mature audience, and that's why I had to stop myself. But you get the picture. In other words, because I hear this a lot. Oh, I got antivirus. I run an antivirus. I don't have an antivirus. I don't have a VPN here. You know why? Because I know better. I know better. I know better not to click on this or go to those websites or download attachments that you're not supposed to, or even download files you're not supposed to download. That's another one. If you go to websites and you're going to download something, you better make sure that that's the file you really want. You better make sure that that's the file that it's not disguised as some kind of batch file that's going to run a malware or something. All right, so that's why, But yeah, jailbroken. That's why I really don't care about that stuff anymore. That was when it first came out. It was like it was cool to jailbreak stuff, and you can, because you kind of give in the middle, to Apple. Say don't tell me what to download. I could download whatever the hell I want. But you still got to be careful. You got to be careful. So yeah, so when I went to Lowe's, we were looking around there, and of course I had some idiot comment on, "Oh, your internet's slow," Like, first of all, and he comes on here every so often, Radio Wave Maniac. in Poland, our internet's fast. So of course I say, listen. First of all, let me address him. I'm gonna address him right now. I didn't get to address him yesterday. I'm gonna address him right now. Let me address him, Mr. Poland. I'm sure you're a nice kid or a nice person. I don't know if he's a kid or not. When you make a general statement like our internet is better than yours, you sound like an idiot. I'm gonna say you sound like an idiot. Don't compare your internet to my internet. First of all, I was outside. See, my internet here, I have gigabit, up and down. Fiber optic is pretty good. I can't complain about it. When I'm outside, like at a place like that, I'm relying on 5G. So that's what it was on. It was on 5G. When I'm outside the building, 5G kicks in. 5G, I saw the problem with my phone is not the internet. It's my phone is not a good phone. It's not the best phone for streaming. It's not my best. It's not. I should have said not my best phone. It's not my best phone for streaming. If I stay in one place, if I stay in one place, it's okay. Now, does Lowe's have Wi-Fi? Yeah. And here I go back to what I'm saying. I could have used the public Wi-Fi. But if you guys been watching me for a while, what I said about public Wi-Fi. Can anybody post here what I said about public Wi-Fi before I go on about it? Go ahead, come on. I'm gonna wait about a couple of minutes. I should play Jeopardy music, but I don't want to waste my time clicking on stuff. But what do I say about public Wi-Fi? I could have connected to public Wi-Fi inside Lowe's, but what do I say about public Wi-Fi? Why I choose not to connect to public Wi-Fi in there? Yeah, I'm hearing crickets now. Because I want to address this guy's issue. Exactly. Thank you, James. Public Wi-Fi is not secure. The minute you go to public Wi-Fi, you just open up your computer to the... by the way, this is your computer. Don't think of this as your phone. This is an Android computer. The minute you connect this to public Wi-Fi, you know what you know what you're doing, right? You're opening up your computer to the world. To the world. To anybody around you. They can go in here and access your data, your folders, your downloads, anything that's you're sending passwords back and forth, you're logging into your email, any financial data you're doing in here, is you just opened it up. That's what you just did. You just opened it up. So this kid doesn't understand that. So I have to stay on 5G. That's why I stay on 5G. But now, of course, I was on 5G. When I went in the building, it downgraded all the way down to 4G. It was at 4G. And when you're doing 1080p streaming in 4G, the quality went like this. And the signal was really... So, of course, the kid is shooting off his mouth about my internet is better than your internet. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. At that point, you're in the chat, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now you sound like a stupid little kid. I'm going to say it. That's what he sounded like yesterday, the kid. Sounded like a dumbass. Don't say your internet is better than mine, because, when I did that stream yesterday, again, I'm not using public Wi-Fi because I don't use public Wi-Fi. I'm not gonna go to public Wi-Fi just to do a stream. I don't use public Wi-Fi at all. I stay away from public Wi-Fi. Either I use my 5G, or that's it. I don't use no hotel Wi-Fi. I don't use no, McDonald's Wi-Fi or Lowe's hardware Wi-Fi. I don't use none of that because it's not secure. So there you go. So the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And let me address one more issue. You live in Poland. You live in Poland, okay? I'm talking to the Polish kid. You live in Poland. When you say your internet is better than that, you're full of shit because you know who invented the internet? Who invented the internet? Let's start with that. Who invented the internet? Then I'm waiting. Somebody in here. I'm hearing crickets. So who invented the internet? I know my internet history. Who invented the internet? Crickets. It was invented. It was invented here in the United States. Okay, first started by DARPA. The original internet was invented by DARPA. By the way, the World Wide Web also. Okay, but internet. We're talking about internet. Forget about World Wide Web. Internet, DARPA. End of story. So you're gonna come in here and troll, kiddo. Come in here with facts. Don't come here saying your internet is better than mine. Because you're foolish. No, yeah, Al Gore, right? Yeah, Al Gore. Yeah, well, he's an American. There you go. He's an American. Al Gore. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's two for America. Al Gore. All right, enough of that. Nah, I hate when people do that. Oh, your internet's slow. My internet's faster than you. Bro, I'm outside at a Lowe's. I'm outside at a Lowe's. What do you think my quality was going to be? I just did that. I just put up that. I said, let me just do a quick stream here to see how it goes. I didn't think I was going to get trolled by a Polish guy. Like, you know what, bro? And he's been on here and saying, "Hi, Danny." He's very calm. But yes, I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe he was drinking yesterday. He decided to troll me yesterday. That's why people act funny on certain days. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe he drank some Polish vodka or something. I don't know. Maybe he was drinking some Polish vodka, trolling me. It was, and by the way, it was morning here. It was that late afternoon over there. It was evening over there already. So maybe he was already having a couple of Polish vodka. I don't know. I don't even know if he's a kid or not. All I know, he has his own little channel, but he had decided to troll me about my internet. So there you go. I wanted to address that. I wanted to address that to you. I'm not even gonna say his name, but you know. Anyway. So the internet was actually invented by DARPA. It was actually developed by DARPA. It was actually, I believe it was the original. It was 4 colleges. And then it was mostly that way until the early 90s. Because before the internet was, for many, many years, it was just text-based. Text-based type stuff. Like, you know, there was always FTP and stuff like that. And then the World Wide Web, as what we know today, which is graphical user interface, hyperlink, HTTP, and HTML markup, you know, HTML language or hypertext markup language. That was developed in 1992, I believe, or 93, and that was by a Swiss guy. A guy from Switzerland, I believe. It was Tim Berners-Lee or something? I know it was Berners-Lee. I remember his first name was Tim Berners-Lee or something. He was the one that invented the World Wide Web. What we know today, so he was the one that invented it. It was a guy from Switzerland. But the internet itself was in America. It was DARPA, defense. Originally, it was developed for the military because they wanted to have computers all around the United States. Not one central location. They wanted to do a network of computers, mainframe computers and things like that, where in case of a nuclear attack, not one would go, You know, if they would wipe out one city, all the mainframe was still spread out all over the country. So the internet was invented because of that. All right, in a nutshell. So there you go. So, you know. So hello, James Farley, and hello, Steve Burnham. Hope you're doing well. Hello to Radio 972. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon. Hello, Different Gear TV. Hope you're doing well. Good evening to you. Yeah, I'll go invented the internet. So he claims he invented the internet. Yeah, TCP/IP. That was all invented from DARPA. TCP/IP, transmission control protocol, internet protocol. Excuse me. Chicken be ready. The USA when the internet, the USA when the first internet was dial-up internet service was a thing. It was invented by AOL. Dial-up internet. Just had CDs and that. Well, it was before that. You're close, but no, it was close. But I mean, dial-up has been around for a long, long time before AOL. AOL made it popular in the 90s, but there was always dial-up before that. There was a few companies that was doing dial-up internet for many, many years before that. You know, if usually I think the biggest one was UUNet. That was the biggest one because that's the backbone. The original internet was well, it was military, but there was a whole bunch of them. CompuServe. I know UUNet. I remember having Netcom. And then it was Prodigy. I did have Prodigy. AOL took it to the next level in terms of marketing, and then they became big. AOL just by the time CompuServe been around for a long time, and you know, and then Prodigy, America Online, AOL, that's what it was called, America Online. Yeah, Telnet, that's a protocol. That's the yeah, Net Zero was after AOL and all that. Net Zero came out in the mid. Net Zero was mid-90s. Yeah, ARPANET. But yeah, so when this guy Poland talks about, you know, so listen, we invented the internet. You know. So what is he talking about? Now, do some countries have faster internet than America? Yeah. But you're talking about, for example, I'll give you an example. South Korea. Right here, we just got fiber. Like 3 years ago. In this area, we just got fiber. Fiber's been around here for a few years. But South Korea had fiber for a few years already. Some countries, now do some countries have faster internet per capita than America? Yeah. But remember, USA is a big country. USA is a big country. There's a lot of areas of USA that is very rural that, you know, need satellite. Even over the air TV in some areas is very you know, if you live in Montana or you live in like South Dakota, somewhere like that, or Utah, there's some areas that are gonna be like, you know, very you know, you're not gonna get high speed fiber optic. I don't think so. You see what I'm saying? It's a broader country. Now, of course, Poland, you can't compare Poland to the United States. Poland is a little country. It's a small country per capita. It's not as big as you know, United States. You know, I think Texas is bigger than Poland, or you know, whatever. So you know, don't even compare that. You know, that's the same argument with high speed rail. You know, Europe has faster trains and all that. We did it first. Again, it goes back to that. We kind of really did it first. Transatlantic Railroad and all that. You know, Europe had railroad too, but remember, they had 2 world wars. You know, some of Europe was decimated, so they had 2 world wars already before they finally, we got high speed rail. You know, and that's questioned because some rail is still never made a profit. It's subsidized by the countries, you know. So the whole rail thing is another stupid argument that we have fastest trains in the world and America's still struggling with Amtrak. Well, the truth of the matter is more people have cars here than any other country. Probably China has more cars than us now. This country was built on driving. Remember, the interstate highway was developed after World War II. I believe it was Eisenhower that started the whole interstate. That's another argument about transportation. You know, for a while, you understand, we were America was and it's still today. I think there's more cars in the United States than any other country in the world. As the exception, I think China finally, you know, in terms of people owning cars. Okay, so, you know, of course, when more people drive, rail traffic, you know, over here is not as, I mean, although I love railroad and all that. I love trains and all that. But this country is built different. Now, are they trying to put high-speed rail now? Yeah, some parts they're trying to do, but it's just, there's a lot more flying here, a lot more air traffic. By the way, and again, aviation, we were the one that took it to the next level with air traffic. You know? So, there's an argument for everything. There's 2 sides to every coin, you know, whatever. 2 sides to every argument, 2 sides. So yeah, can we put a lot more money into high speed rail? Yeah, we can. But this country's so broad. I mean, you know, even if you want to go from New York to LA, even if you go high speed rail, it's still gonna be days. You're not gonna get to LA in one day. Not a high speed rail. I'm sorry, it's not there. Even going down to Florida on a train. If you were to go to high speed rail, and we went to the moon. Thank you very much for that one. There you go. And we went to the moon. You know, high speed rail, even if we go to New York to Florida, it's not going to be like 2 hours. You know, now when you live in France is not a big country compared to United States. You know, you could go from Lyon, Paris to Lyon. I'm pronouncing my French. Lyon, not Lion. Lyon, from Paris to Lyon in 2.5 hours, whatever it is. Good for you, Paris. I mean, good for you, France. So Poland, you know, if you want to go from Krakow to Warsaw to Krakow, whatever, it take you whatever. Good for you, Poland. But here in the United States, we don't care about high-speed rail right now because everybody drives. Or, you know, there's Amtrak. Amtrak, I think does a decent job. Overall, I think for what they're something. I think they do a decent job. I think sometimes they drop the ball on things. My experience with Amtrak has been good. It's been good. Can't complain. So, you know. So there's an argument for everything. You know. Not every country, not every city in the Union here has high-speed internet yet. Some smaller cities are still using cable. I think now fiber is all over. I think every major city now has fiber optic internet. I think now pretty much, and even some suburban areas have fiber. So we're not. You know. Now is there a lot more regulation here? Yeah, there is. There is a lot more regulation. There is that. So when you make a blanket saying, well, you're Poland internet is faster than, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sorry, Poland. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry. Just like NATO puts up most of the money to, you know. And I'm going to go one step further. If it wasn't for the United States, there'd be no, you guys would be speaking German. Right, Poland? We know what happened there. Y'all would have been speaking the German. So thank us and thank Russia for liberating Europe. And I'll close it at that. Close. Yeah. So yeah, Net Zero. Yeah, I remember Net Zero, the dial-up service. I had Juno. I have email from Juno. That used to be dial-up email. I think that was in 1993 or 94. I had Juno. That was my first email account ever. Well, AOL gave you free email, but I never used AOL. The one I put on my resume was Juno. I remember my first tech job, actually. He saw my resume. He was like, because I was like, I guess out of all the, some people didn't put their email. Some people kept putting their phone number. I put my email. It was Juno. And so the guy right away was like, you use Juno? I said, yeah, you got free email account of Juno. He said, oh, nice, very good. I didn't know about that. And he said he's a tech guy. He was gonna be my supervisor. I didn't know about you could get a free email account. I said, yeah, it's free. Free. So I remember Juno. Free email from Juno. And then of course they had their own then they had their own dial-up internet too, Juno. Free internet from Juno. But it didn't last long. Then I think Net Zero was the one that got. I think Net Zero Net Zero bought them out or something. It might have been Net Zero that bought them out. I have to look into that. What happened to Juno? Who bought out Juno? Yeah, but that was dial-up. This is before Yahoo Mail, before Gmail. Before Hotmail. This is before Hotmail. That was Hotmail. So because there was no Hotmail back then. Then Hotmail came out. Juno, I had Juno email. By the way, I never closed that account, by the way. And then Hotmail was the out of the first. Let me lower the fan. Out of the web, now these are called web-based email. By the way, before that, if you wanted to read your email, you had to get an email client, right? You had to get an email client. Like Juno, it was a program. Juno was a program for Windows. You dial up to it. It was also a program, but it also had the built-in reader and everything. It had the reader. So you didn't have to put the send mail address. You had to put the STMP address, the POP address. You didn't have to do any of that. You didn't have to put any of that. So it was dial-up. But if you had an ISP, like for example, like Netcom, you get a free email account. But you had to download a client, like Pegasus Mail. The one that I used to use was Pegasus Mail. Or Qmail. No. Pegasus Mail. Pmail. Qmail. I don't forget about it. No, it was Pmail. Pegasus Mail. Pmail. Or Netscape. Netscape had their own client too. It was called, was it Thunderbird? What it was called? Anyway, Netscape had their own email client too. It's an email client. So in there you could set up your thing. And then finally Hotmail came out. Hotmail.com. Hotmail. And they were the first, so I think for me they were the first web-based client. That means that you don't have to remember the POP mail address, the STMP. You don't have to put all that stuff down. You just you just log in, you go to the website, hotmail.com, username and password, that's it. And you got your email client right there on the browser. So Hotmail was the first one that I remember. Hotmail.com. I still got that email account, by the way. Of course, now it's called Outlook. Microsoft bought them. Then they became Outlook or MSN. MSN. I think they merged everything now into Microsoft because remember Microsoft tried to start their own ISP. Microsoft Network, they had it on their own ISP, MSN. You know, and then of course they had MSN Messenger and all that. But anyway, so yeah, so you need a client. So then Hotmail, then after that was Yahoo Mail. Then Yahoo Mail came out. So you know your name at yahoo.com. That one became really big. And then finally Google, when they came out with Gmail. And then a whole bunch of them now. But yeah, I remember I still have a Yahoo account, by the way. I still have Yahoo email. And of course Gmail, once Gmail came out, and then everybody started getting Gmail addresses. But yeah, I remember I still got the original the original Hotmail account. I still have that. But of course now you have to log in through if you go to hotmail.com, I think it redirects to Outlook or something now, whatever. Samuel Reyes, I had the Samsung Tab 4 in the early 2010. Yeah, I never got a Tab. Oh, my wife, my wife, we still have it. Actually, it's in the drawer. It's in the drawer somewhere. I think we have the Tab. It might be that one actually. It might have been the 5 or the 4. The tablet. That's the tablet. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. I think we might have that one. Well, my wife, what for my wife? I never used it. She used it. It was a nice tablet at the time. We still have it. It's in the drawer somewhere. I know we still have it though. Samsung Tab. Yeah. Yeah, it's for Yahoo. Yeah. Yeah, so I still have Net Zero email address today. The T Radio says, although no longer subscribed to the internet service. Yeah. I don't even know what is Net Zero now. Let me see. Actually, let me check what became of them. Let me see. Net Zero. What became of Net Zero? Net Zero. I put that in there. Okay, so it's netzero.net. So they're still around. Is my.netzero.net? This is their website. Let me go here, desktop. So they're still around. So it's that's my.netzero.net. So it's like it looks like kind of portal. Excuse me. So of course, because it's ad stuff that keeps tracking what I'm looking at. It's scary that it keeps showing everybody what I'm looking at. There's all the stuff that I've been looking at, people. Oh boy. Kind of scary to show all this stuff out here. Hopefully it's something in okay. So far so good. So you go to my account. I don't have any yet. I don't have a Net Zero, so they still have. Okay, so they still have Net Zero DSL or dial-up. Let me see what the service is. Excuse me, sorry. So they got the free email. Okay, let me see what dial-up. Free dial-up. Oh, so they still have free dial-up. Okay. Up to 10 hours a month. Interesting. They still have free dial-up. James Farley, did you ever subscribe to Maximum or Boot Magazine? No, I don't. No. Chickaby Radio, that is scary. Twitter gave me yeah. That's the when you say accept all cookies, or accept cookies, that it just tracks So it's tracking your browser history. So that's what it does. Yeah, I know. NetZero. So do you saw the banner? That's AliExpress. So AliExpress is gonna display what I've been looking at AliExpress. So if I want to refresh that in another ad, let me see. So if I go back to NetZero, where's the main page? If I refresh it again, let me see. That was an AliExpress ad. Let me see what this ad comes up now. I'm waiting for it to load. Now it's going slow. Yeah, it's still AliExpress. Yeah, so it's AliExpress again. So it's Jesus Christ, Danny. Let me go back. Okay, let me close this. I don't want to have too many windows open. Let me close that. Let me close that. And let me go back to my... Yeah. So AliExpress, yeah. So right now, because I guess AliExpress has ad space there right now. So AliExpress, what it does, I guess the browsing history on this computer right now, on this browser, right? It takes that data and says, oh, this is Danny. Oh, he was looking at the TF radio. That's what he just bought. He was looking at this radio and this radio. Okay, they put in a banner. You know, that's what they do. So, for example, if I didn't go to AliExpress, then I wouldn't have the AliExpress. See, AliExpress is still targeting me to buy more stuff. That's what they're doing. So if I would have went to another site and bought some other stuff, I probably would have got that banner. By the way, that banner is not AliExpress. That's Google Ads. That banner, I think, is from AdSense. No, I don't think that's AliExpress. I think it's showing AliExpress, but I think that's Google. That's Google AdSense that's displaying the Google AdSense is the one that's putting the banner out on that web page. So that's Google Google telling me, Google's telling me, oh, you like AliExpress? Here's more AliExpress. So, you know, even though it's showing AliExpress for me, that's Google sending AliExpress to me. You understand? That's AdSense server. Because if I go, but let me, I'll check right now. I'll tell you what it is right now. Now I have to go back to that page. Let me go to NetZero. I'm going to click on it again. Let's see. I'll tell you right now who's hosting that banner. Let me see who's hosting. If I do a rollover, yeah, see? I'll show you. I'll show you right now. Here you go. Right? AliExpress, but if I go over and look at the address down here, you see it down, you can't see it because my head is blocking it. Anyway, it's Google Ads, it's googleadservices.com/page ad, and you got that long URL. So right now, this banner is from, if I click on it right here, see? Google. See it right there? So this website, these are Google banners, Google AdSense banners. If I click on this one, you see it right there, look, ad choices. Let me see, who's that from? That's Google also. Okay? So Google is telling NetZero to put AliExpress. Because I've been to AliExpress. That's what that Google's saying. So it's not AliExpress pimping, it's Google. All right? So AliExpress is paying Google to display ads all over the place. Right? By the way, I can do that. I can pay ads. I can pay Google. Yeah, so it's Google ad. So if you when you roll over your mouse, you see the address bar. It says Google AdSense. I mean Google Ad Services.com. That's Google. Because Google has same thing with YouTube right now. They have banners around YouTube. That's all Google Ad Services. So when you pay for an ad on YouTube, not the video ad, not for banner ads, they have a different campaign for that. It's called, the original one is Google AdSense. So you could just pay for banner ads. And they'll put your banner all over YouTube pages and all that. All over pages that have Google AdSense. By the way, this original, my original Google AdSense is from banner ads. I used to post a lot of banner ads for Google. I used to post like my blog. I have websites where I put Google ads, but I didn't make anything out of it until I finally joined YouTube. Then I put the YouTube partner program with Google AdSense, and then now So by the way, so not only I'm getting, there's a small tiny percentage that I get from banner ads once in a while. And that's because of my blog. My blog has a banner ad. It doesn't have it anymore. But I used to have banner ads on the Google. By the way, I could still enable that and put it, like if I had a website that had a lot of traffic and I wanted to make extra money, I could put the banner ads for Google there too. That's what NetZero is doing. You see NetZero, they have those banner ads. So they put that there. Those clicks, they get money for that. For the clicks. Google AdSense. And there's a couple other more, but I think they got bought out. What's the big one that used to be around? I'm trying to remember the other one. There was a big one. I forgot. There was a big one that I was gonna. I applied for. I had an interview with them, and I didn't get the job. They were big banner advertising. I'm trying to remember them. Oh my God, I can't remember. I have to look it up. Let me look it up. I'll look it up right now and I'll tell you. I mean, we're talking about there's another one. There's a different. Let me see who's this one. This ad right here. This is AccuWeather.com has a little thing right here. This one is that's ad choices. Okay, so these are all ad choices. I'm not showing you it because I don't want to see. I want to see if nothing pops up. I'm trying to remember the other one. Let me see. Banner and companies. Let me see if I put that. Banner ad companies. Let me see what. I'll see for some. Let me see if they're still around. Nah, forget it. This is all junk right now. I'm seeing a bunch of junk. Forget it. Yeah. Anyway, it's a company. I forgot. Oh, ClickBank. ClickBank. I think it's no, not ClickBank. No, not ClickBank is an affiliate. No, never mind. He's not ClickBank. He's another company. He's not ClickBank. It's another. ClickBank is different. ClickBank is an affiliate. But anyway, there's another one that used to do a lot of banner. I think Google bought them out. So, remember banner ads go back from the 90s. All these banner ads are from the 90s. This is the original way that people used to make money was through banner ads. That's how I made money. I made money through banner ads. A lot of banner ads. They call it affiliate marketing. You get paid by the click, or by call, or you get for every 1,000 clicks you get whatever little nothing. You need to generate a lot of clicks, or you get paid by the views, page views, things like that. And then not only the banner has the clicks, then you also get paid by membership. So of course now we're talking about another genre which I don't want to mention here. People know about history already. About that, I used to have websites that whatever banner ads for certain websites, dating sites. So they will pay you by the member. So if anybody signed up to that website, I will get a commission for that membership. And then they also have recurring membership. That means for every month that person stays on that for every month that person's on that membership, they keep the membership, I get a small commission of that membership even every month. That's called recurring membership or recurring commission. And then they have some that we just pay one-time sign up. If they sign up, if it's just a free trial, they signed up, and I still get a membership for a commission for that. What else they also have? I think that's it. Then yeah. Then sometimes they have other incentives, but that's mostly it. So today of course you have now you have video on demand and all that, things like that. Anyway, so now it's a lot of video. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Those sites, Revolution. Yeah, they did. Actually, you know what? You're right. Believe it or not, they were the predecessor of a lot of stuff. Like video chat. Video chat was, and they were the one that perfected the video chat before everybody else because a lot of people were using it for that. Voice chat, video chat, streaming, like video on demand streaming, streaming. I mean, not video on demand, streaming. Like, people will go to a membership site and they will watch someone on a live cam. Streaming. They kind of perfected the streaming thing. Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that really perfected all that stuff. Streaming. Let me go back up here. James Farley, I kind of miss the sounds of motors connecting. We all do. It was music to our ears. I know some of these young folks didn't have to go through all that. They already had high-speed internet. But I remember when I used to dial up, and the one house, our family had shared one phone line, and I would be down in the basement with my connected to Prodigy or whatever. And somebody just picked up the phone. And I would get disconnected. And then they would pick up the phone on there, and then they hear, and they're like, what is this noise? Bro, you're on my internet. They didn't know any better. Because I was the first one in my family to have any internet. I started with dial-up stuff. Dialing up to a computer. Dialing up to a... Well, I think what was my first modem was 300 baud. That was a Commodore modem, 300 baud. Then I had a 1200 baud, and then I didn't dial up for a few years, and then I think the first one was the first one I tried. I think it was Netcom. That was the first one I tried. I think if I remember Netcom, dialing up on that, or try to get the internet, and then it was too much of a pain. AOL, Chicopee, AOL made it easier for a lot of people. What that AOL really did, and then they had problems in the beginning. What AOL did was they simplified everything. You just dial one number, and you will get, you didn't have to put all that stuff. You didn't have to download WinSock, install it on Windows 3. On Windows 3, if you wanted to use Internet Protocol and all that, if you wanted to go on the web, all that, you had to download WinSock. And you had to set up your computer. You had to set up your Windows computer for TCP/IP. And that was beyond the scope of a lot of people. Now you're getting into networking. You have to put you have to put the IP address of the gateway address and all that. So a lot of people, So AOL simplified it. It did it for you. That's why it took off. If the average person could connect to the internet without much technical knowledge. That's what really made it. It was between three companies. It was Prodigy, CompuServe, and AOL. But AOL also mass marketed. They really took it marketing to a whole new level, and they really, like when you went into AOL, everything was right there. Oh my God, it was like Vegas. It was like Vegas. Ooh, chat. Ooh, let me go in there, chat. That's the first thing a lot of people did. Chat. That's what blew up AOL, was the chat. All the online communities, all those chat rooms. So, of course, some people will go to this chat room and troll or whatever. James Farley, AliExpress likes pimping information. But again, that's not AliExpress. That's just Google Ads posting that. So the internet isn't free. Well, it's still free. There's still a lot of stuff you can still, Yeah. Chicopee Radio, speaking of DP660, I can't wait for it to come soon. I know you bought it, just waiting. Yeah, I got an update on it. Let me see where it's at now. Actually, let me check it over here. I know it just went through customs. He said it went through customs. Let me see. Let me turn up the fan. I feel a little cold now. So it went through customs right here. See what's next in your doors this morning. Let me see. Custom clearance has begun. Let me track the delivery. Let me see where it's at now. Okay. I don't know why this pops up like this. Anyway, let me. This way. Oh God, Can we stop with the pop-ups? Sign in. Nobody have an account. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, let me see. No, stop with this pop-up stuff, man. My orders. Let me see. Okay, so let me go to track order. So let me see where we at now. So right now it is April 30th. So right now it says in transit, export customs cleared, import clearance started, waiting flight. Okay, so it's a waiting flight. So it's still in. So I cleared the customs in China. So now it's flying here. So I'm guessing tomorrow. Well, they said by the 5th it should be here. I might get it before the 5th. But that's the delivery date so far. Let me see the delivery date. Did they change the delivery date? No, May 5th. May 5th. So right now it cleared customs in China. And it's a waiting flight. So that means it's on the plane. So a waiting flight. So that means it's on the plane. So when it gets here, once it gets here, it's like 2 days. Because it's flying right now. So it's flying. It's gonna fly. Probably. So that means it's flying now. So tomorrow morning, it'll be in wherever it lands at. Then it goes to that custom, and then that's it. Then it goes to. Right? Yeah. Right now it's a waiting flight. So then now the next step is again the customs in America customs, and then that's it. Then it goes to the delivery guy. In this case, it's gonna be it's gonna be Uni. That's the delivery company. Right now, it's not Postal Service. Let me see. Let me see the number. Yeah, usually AliExpress. Well, radio. Let me see. My last delivery was what? Uni. They all my last deliveries they've been Uni. Oh yeah, the little radio TF. Yeah. So it's gonna be Uni. I know it sounds funny the name Uni. They're Chinese. They're this guy. I'll show you the company. Uni. Let me see. Uni. Tracking. Let me see what they are. Or Uni. Some people say Uni. Anyway, this is the company. So it's Uni. Okay. If you want to know more about them, I believe, well, they're in America. Let me see. So this is another, I bet basically it's a competition for, let me see, what are they about us? Let me see. What do you know about? Unifying technology. Oh, that's what it stands for, unify. Uni. So it's Uni. I say Uni. Sound like nano. More than mini, nano, not whatever. Nano, not whatever. Anyway, so you see the picture? They got this Uni guy. See, they got Uni. So this is what AliExpress uses mostly. Okay? So I guess they're like so they're like the competition of they're the competition now of FedEx and UPS. Okay? So you can see, look at the history right here. Here you go. 2022 closing delivery date 99.68%. That's pretty good. Serving 9 provinces and our first USA region in 2022. 2023, 300 plus employees, 10,000 registered drivers, 10,000 plus. Rapid expansion across North America. Uni welcomes your company to our network. Okay. Oh, they have other stuff. Wow. Let me see when they started. Oh, right here. There you go. In 2019, they were founded in Vancouver. So they're Canadian. Oh, they're Canadian. I thought it was Chinese. Okay, so yeah, so you see right there. Hey, you see, you're learning. I'm learning here. So this is what AliExpress uses, which is great, by the way. We need more competition because UPS. You saw my 2 antennas destroyed. FedEx not far behind. They're horrible also. I don't trust FedEx either. And United States Postal Service, yeah, they're okay, but so it's good to have competition. So they were founded in Vancouver to revolutionize partial delivery, innovates tech-driven last mile solutions. So they're last mile. What they mean by last mile is, they don't own the planes. They're not like UPS that owns the planes or FedEx has planes. So usually those packages probably come in at China Airlines, China Airline Cargo, right? It could be China Airline Cargo, something like that. Then when they get to the airport here, I believe Uni takes it from there, or they have another distribution place. And then Uni. Last mile usually means that so they don't do the flying or the shipping. They get it probably at the airport. The last mile. So this is what this is. So just think about it like that. Uni does not own planes like FedEx. You know, FedEx has their own planes. Amazon has their own planes too, by the way. Prime Air, they do have their own planes. FedEx, I said FedEx already. U.S. Postal Service has their own planes too, by the way. Yeah. So they're not there yet. Now, maybe in the future, when they get bigger, they might have Uni planes. But right now, they probably use, I think it's mostly Chinese and all that, they're probably using China Air. China Air Cargo or another airline air cargo service or whatever. In 2020, expansion to Alberta and Ontario, 10,000 deliveries daily. Okay, that was 2020. And then, of course, expansion, 2021, expansion to Montreal. So they were Canadian first. I mean, they are Canadian. But I guess from those years, they were only strictly in Canada. Because I don't remember, I remember Uni, I keep saying Uni. Yeah, I would say Uni, right? Uni. Or Unified. Let's just call them Unified or Uni. Uni. So they were strictly Canada until 2020. Let me see. Let me go back to 2020. 2022. Okay, so close delivery date. I read that one. Earns PIP. ISO 90. ISO 9001 certification, serving 9 provinces, and our first USA region. So there you go. So 2022 is when they started in America. Started, they did. 2023, of course, you see the history there. And of course now this is 2024. Well, we still got more. 2024, 600,000 deliveries a day. Wow. In North America, 50,000 registered drivers, 600 plus employee. So I guess they have their own. Yeah, it's another thing about Uni. Usually the person delivery, they come in their own car or van, whatever. They probably have something like Uber, you could, how Uber drivers, or they could do side gigs delivering packages. So they probably having a plan there. I'm sure it's in the web page, because usually people that deliver that, they don't come in a Uni truck. They just come. I seen them drop it off. It's just a guy with a hatchback or whatever. He just, it was like, okay, there you go. No uniform. Sometimes they don't have uniform. Unlike in the picture there, you see with the uniform. So they're just a registered driver. They're not an employee of. Uni ranked 4th on Globe and Mail list of Canada's top growing companies. Okay, so that's confirmed that it is Canadian. So there you go. So I just found a good nugget of information there. That yeah, there we go. See, I'm telling you, I'm always looking up stuff. But yeah, there you go. So, when you order from AliExpress, is Uni is the one that's going to do the last mile delivery here in North America now. Before, it used to be Postal Service. Now, if it's a big package, I think UPS still does it. Like, if you order something really big, like something that needs freight, something that probably weighs over 60 pounds or something, that might still be UPS. But right now, all the packages I got from AliExpress lately is Uni. All right, so there you go. So a little nugget of information there. Uni. That's who's the delivery service for, which is good. By the way, they're rapidly growing. It's good to have competition. I know we also had DHL. We do have some DHL. Oh, actually, I believe that. Oh, yeah, that's right. That makes sense. I think that DHL is I think they use DHL planes, because sometimes when I would look at my tracking information, I will see DHL. So I think for the planes, they're using DHL. I'll show you. I'll show you a DHL plane. I have a DHL plane around there. Where's my DHL plane? Where's my planes? I'm like right there. There goes my DHL. Yeah, they're using DHL. So they're probably using this plane. Well, not this one, but anyway, they're probably using DHL for their planes, or China Air Cargo or something. Okay. And then when DHL lands here in our cases, New York or LaGuardia or Newark, then Uni takes it from there. So I kind of explained that into, hey. Here you go, a thumbnail with DHL. For my thumbnail, here you go, DHL, here you go. Uni, say Uni, say cheese. Uni. There you go. I was by the way, live streaming. Here's another tip for all you young bucks out there. You started doing live streaming. Always do stream pics. And when you showcasing stuff, because that could be the thumbnail for your live. So if I'm showcasing something, I'll do a stream pic. I'll be like, And then, you know. Then when you go back, when you're on YouTube, there's an area where you could well, not really. YouTube selects 3 photos randomly, and they have the AI thing that does it, and it'll try to pick the best one out of all of them, and you could pick that one as your thumbnail. Or like what I do with TubeBuddy, because I have TubeBuddy extension. By the way, I should put my TubeBuddy URL affiliate, because I'm using TubeBuddy free version. TubeBuddy has a thumbnail maker. It's very limited, but you can still make thumbnails for free. In there, you can use a picture of the stream as your thumbnail. So that's what I do. I go in my reel and I find that picture and I can say, okay, make this one my thumbnail, and it does it right there. Or I could add more to it. I could put text on it if I want. I could do all this stuff on there. But it's still very limited. But you know, like the thumbnail I made for the birdhouse, that's TubeBuddy. All those thumbnails you see, that's TubeBuddy. This one, of course, AI. This one I uploaded. This one I made this one with the, you know, AI, ChatGPT, whatever. But like the one I did for the birdhouse video review, wink, wink. Was it really a review? You know what I mean. If you watch the video, it's not much of a review. More of a bashing. More my it was not really a review, it was a reaction. Anyway, I just got the refund today on it. That's why I went to Lowe's yesterday, because we went to Whole Foods to drop off the bird feeder. Because you can return it in Whole Foods. When you get Amazon, that's why I love Amazon, by the way, for refunds. Amazon, by the way, Amazon, if you do a return, if you go to a Whole Foods supermarket, you just got to bring in the box. You don't have to bring the original shipping box. You just got to bring in the box, and that's it. So, in some places like the UPS drop-off, you have to bring the original box, the shipping box too. But in Whole Foods, you don't have to bring in you can just bring in just the package box, the one that the package. So you don't have to bring the shipping box. So they just what you use is the Amazon app has a QR code. They scan it. Okay, that's it. You're done. Thank you. That's it. And then the refund, you get it within about an hour. I think right away I got the text saying, okay, you returned it. Now we're going to process your refund. And then, of course, last night I got it credited to my account already. It's very fast. That's why I love Amazon for that stuff. That's why sometimes that's why I say sometimes don't go by the lowest price. Sometimes it's best to buy it on Amazon if you have an Amazon Prime account, because even though you pay more, it's peace of mind. Number one, the big one is the peace of mind. It's a peace of mind. And if something like, for example, the bird feeder cam, I really liked it. It had potential, but the Wi-Fi was horrible. The Wi-Fi was horrible on it. And of course, the video quality really sucked because if the Wi-Fi cannot keep up with it, the video quality is going to suffer. And that's when I had that, I had a meltdown, basically. It was a meltdown. My reaction on that bird feeder. I mean, it looks nice from the outside. It looks promising. But I mean, I took it outside and tried it. It was just it sucked. Sucky, you know? It sucked. That was it. Oh, Jesus, I kicked over this stuff here. What the hell's wrong with me? Oh, my God. Anyway, later, I'll pick it up later. Yeah, so, you know, sucky, right? There you go. So that's what happened. That was the reaction you got. Sucky. Okay, this don't look good here with a roll like this. It looks like I'm gonna go right here. You know what? Last thing you want to do is have a paper roll right there as a backdrop. Then of course the rest of the stream goes down the toilet. that's what happened. That's what happened that day. I had a meltdown. That's it. I was like, my God, this thing is. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a video of this. You know, and of course Tasso was reacting in the chat. That's what made it funny. I couldn't show the chat though because I had the OBS cut off. They couldn't show the chat, and the reaction was funny about that. You know, because Tasso was laughing too. He was, you know, I was cracking up because. And it was fun. You know what made it funny was the feedback made it funny. But I would say, it's sucky, and then the feedback would play it. And that's what made the, you know. And then sometimes you got to use a video like that, you got to use it. So you know what? I'm going to use this as my review. I'm not going to sit here and review it and say, oh, yeah. I just say, you know what? I'm going to let my reaction review. I'm gonna make that as my review. So if there's a little clickbait, I'm sorry. It was meant to be clickbait, by the way. It was meant to be clickbait. Like if you remember when I had to add that little thing, and then you saw in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this might work. And then a few moments later, clip, and then of course my reaction 2 hours later was a piece of junk. The one that cost 30. Well, now they dropped it to $34.95. So they, even after I bought it, they discounted again. So now it's $34.95 for that bird feeder. No SD card storage. Now that was already one big minus on it. And then of course the horrible Wi-Fi. It was just horrible. I had it right there in the alley. Line of sight with the route. My router's right there in the window. It was just herky jerky. It wasn't even nothing smooth on it at all. And then I put it right here. It was right here. The bird. My Wi-Fi's right there in the window. That's my router. And it still was herky jerky, and I lost it. I just freaking lost it. I just lost it. I just said the hell with this. Oh my God. Yeah. James Farley. Yeah, 28.8. Yeah, then I went up to, after that I went up to 14.4. I remember I was like, wow, this is blazing fast. Then 28.8. Then I was like, this is really blazing fast. Then I got 56K. I remember 56K. I was like, wow, we flying. 56K. Yeah. Yeah, uni. I know. I don't know why I was saying uni. Uni. So yeah, so I should get it by the 5th. So we're talking about what? Let me look at the calendar. I'll tell you right now. So wait a minute. This is one. Okay, I'm looking at April. Jesus, next calendar. Sorry, let me go up. Oh, all right. May. Okay, so Tuesday. So it should be here by Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday should be here by Tuesday. There you go. So Tuesday. Jace Farley, I hope is in Suki. Suki, yeah. Yeah. Samuel Ray is a good thumbnail photo. Yeah, I when you do a live stream, always do what they call stream pick. Just stay there. Let it record it. When you're still recording. And then when you're done with the live stream, you go back to wherever spot and you use that as your thumbnail. They call it stream pick. A lot of streamers do that though when they're outside, and then of course, I was watching one yesterday, and he was in the Caribbean. So of course people were like, "Oh, can I take a picture?" You go, "No, the stream pick. Just look at the webcam. Look at the webcam. Okay, and that's it. And then you take that and you make that as your thumbnail or your photo, whatever. Yeah. Chickaby Radio, my website is going to be online tomorrow. It's going to be Danny's Discord, 7 members only. and on weekends because of NGRAC. I know in your case you have that bandwidth limitation with the domain thing. So yeah, you have to limit it because otherwise you run out of bandwidth like that. So I'm gonna put mine later. I'll put mine online later. I'll leave it on overnight. So later I'll have it on. I'll probably fire it up in about an hour. So I'll fire it up. I'll leave it on. So if you want to connect to it, you can just check up on it or whatever. But yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm gonna keep it members only because number one, you know what? That's gonna incentivize more people to join my server, which I would like. Number two, well, big number two is I just don't want to deal with idiots anymore. I really don't. I'm trying to keep it right. It's honestly the last couple of times I had it for server members only. It was so quiet and peaceful. No drama. No drama. People just go in there and they could. By the way, you could go in there longer and listen to it longer. I don't mind that now. Actually, you know, if you want to listen to it for like leave it on for a whole hour, go ahead. Leave it on. Whatever. Tune. Because it's members only now. I really now use it more often. Go ahead. Because nobody's in there now. But at least I'd rather have you using it because you're a member of the Discord or another member of Discord than somebody else that doesn't, you know what? The hell with it. You know what? Like James Foley just put up to the internet's not free. Become a member. There you go. You want to join my I have MDX web server, people. I have one. Yonkers, New York. It's not on every day, but I'm gonna put it on later. But if you want to have access to it, you gotta join my Discord. Join my Discord, that's all. If you join my Discord, I post it there when it goes live and you can see it. Then you can go in there. And you can, you know, and I'm gonna add a third antenna probably by next week. The 3 element is gonna go up there next week. I'm gonna order the coax. I'm probably gonna order it tonight. I haven't ordered yet, but I'm gonna put the 3 element up. And then that'll be my right now I put the disco in there. I did a band scan a couple of days ago. But that one I want the third one to be the pointing west, the 3 element. All right. Oh, hello, John Ludbrook. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, my friend. How you doing in UK? The UK Postal Service, Royal Mail used to be one of the best in the world. Like everything else in UK, government sold to a billionaire. In Europe, parcels, letters are 6 weeks. Yeah, I know that's a lot. Well, I mean, you know. Well, yeah, I know here the Postal Service is still. Actually, the Postal Service here is not that bad. It's still. I think in terms of delivery service, they're okay. Of course, once in a while, things are going to happen. We're talking about billions of pieces of mail every year that go through the Postal Service here in the United States. So, of course, you're going to have, you're going to have some that's going to fall through the cracks and all that. For me, the Postal Service, the only problem with the Postal Service here is that when you go to the Postal Service itself, that Postal Service, the main one here in Yonkers, the service is horrible. They have long lines. Now the one down here is a smaller one by South Broadway down there. That when I walk in there, nobody was there that day. When I sent Tasso my radio, I gave Tasso a radio and I sent it. I went to the main post office and I didn't want to wait that line. It was a stupid line. It was like it would have been like an hour just waiting on the line, like ridiculous. So I said, the hell, I'm not. So the next day I went back. I went to the other one. I walked in there. Nobody was there. I just dropped it off. She scanned it. Okay, that's it. Have a good day. It depends. It just depends on what postal office you go to. Sometimes you get good service. Sometimes you get crappy service. Maybe sometimes you get good service. But yeah. But overall, I'm still gonna say they do a good job. Of course, it's always good to have competition. So So AliExpress uses that Uni, right? Uni, and they're Canadian. I didn't know. I just looked this up right now. They're a Canadian company. So now they're expanding now they're all over North America now. So because when I noticed when I used to, remember we used to order from them, we used to get it from the postal service. But now they use them as their last mile. And by the way, there's a lot more companies doing that. There's a lot more companies doing that, by the way. A friend of mine, actually, there's a friend of mine I grew up with in the Bronx. He started his own company years ago. And it's similar to that. It's a last mile courier service. He started that. I haven't seen them in years, but I know he's doing a lot better. He's really, he's one of the few guys that I grew up with that was always, very smart guy. He by the way, he never drank. He never smoked. He never drank alcohol. He was always, a smart guy, good head on his shoulders, everything. And he started his own company. It was a courier company. And I think he has a big, I know the last time me and him communicated, he was on my Facebook and all that. He's still on my Instagram, and I think he bought a big, I forgot how many thousands of square feet of warehouse. He moved his company. I know he's in New Jersey right now. I don't know what part of New Jersey he's in, but he's, and listen, the courier business is very competitive. And if you can carve out a niche in the courier service to deliver more packages, you'll become very successful. Amazon did that. Remember Amazon depended on UPS and FedEx and all that. Now 100% of all the mail, well, not 100%. Some of them still go through postal service. But Amazon handles most of the interior stuff. Most of the Amazon warehouse, well, I'm going to say most of the Amazon warehouse stuff is Prime. Prime delivery. Amazon Prime. So, it's good. I think competition is good. So, Uni, let me, if that's the website up. Yeah, so a company like this, and this is a Canadian company. A company like this, it's good. It's good for all of us. By the way, it cuts costs. I mean, they're probably saying, you know what, like you said, I know, on some of the stuff on AliExpress was free delivery. I didn't pay for shipping. The only thing I paid was the taxes. So, a company like this is always welcome. And by the way, John Ludwig, don't be surprised if Uni one day branches out to Europe. They're growing. So a company like this, when you buy your next item from AliExpress, it might be this company, or it might be another smaller company like this in Europe that's going to do the last mile delivery. So competition is always welcome. It's always welcome. So, especially now that we have, we have, like, for example, Uber, right? We have Lyft. We have all these companies. So we have companies that do all that. That not only that, like, for example, Uber. Remember, Uber started out as like a taxi service, and then now they deliver food. So now they also deliver packages. And they use services like this, like Uni. I keep saying Uni. Excuse me, my bad. Uni hires, they have probably some kind of program. Uni says, okay, hey, you know what? If you deliver these packages, we'll pay you whatever, whatever. So there you go. All right, let me see, where am I right now? Where am I right now? Oh, jeez, I'm going all over the place right now. Sorry about that. Okay, this thing's scrolling too fast here. All right, check will be really nice. The one in Otis is gonna have different antenna. The Wine Garden antenna I posted, yes. I'm gonna point it toward Maine because there is no main server there. And is also shared being an FM antenna. I like to watch WTNH ABC 8 in New Haven. And I can get in that Otis with that antenna, so I will point that toward Connecticut. Okay. James Farley, the postal codes in the UK are narrowed down to the street, not to the town. I don't know if that's a question toward, or that's a statement or question toward John Ludbrook. I don't know much about. I know over here is not the town. We're in a small city. Is only a section of the city. So, for example, my old zip code in the Bronx was 10453. And that's only a section, only a sector of the Bronx. You know, maybe 1 mile radius all around. 1 or 2 miles, maybe. I would say 1 mile, almost 2 mile radius. That I had one zip code. And then the zip code. So the Bronx had like 6 zip codes alone, I believe. Just the borough of the Bronx alone. Not New York City. The borough of the Bronx had at least six, I don't know. It might be more. It was quite a few because I had one zip code. And then if you go, for example, the zip code in Yankee Stadium was not the zip code. My zip code was another digit. Like, 10455 was my old zip code in the South Bronx, 10455. My zip code in where I last lived, that was 10453. I think there's like 6, 7 zip codes. So it could be not even by the street. It could be narrowed. Yeah, it could be narrowed down by the streets. I don't know about by the street. That's a lot of zip codes. But yeah, but I know it's at least a sector of, in my case, when I lived in the Bronx, it was a sector of the borough of the Bronx. That was it. New York City alone, there's a lot of zip codes. It was a whole bunch. Because Manhattan has a whole bunch. Queens has a whole bunch. Brooklyn, and then Staten Island. So that's a lot of zip codes. Now, of course, some towns only have one zip code. But not us. Not. And in Yonkers, same way. Westchester County, that's a big county. We have a lot of zip codes. We have a whole bunch. Hello, Tasso, and my deepest condolences to you, my friend. I love you, bro. I'm sorry to hear about your loss, about, beautiful Linda. Yeah, I know. I saw your video. It broke my heart to see that and to read the news that she passed on. But she's 15 years old. That's a long life for. I'm not an expert on animals, so I don't know what the life. I know that 15 years old is a lot for a cat. For a cat, I believe that's a long time. My question not my question, but 15 years, that's a lot. I don't know if you had her for all 15 years or was she, I never asked you about that. How did you how did you get Linda? Was it a rescue cat? Was it, did somebody just, I don't know. But 15 years, the age, that's a lot. That is a lot. I know that's a lot. My neighbor right across the street, he had a Rottweiler. Her name was Maya. And I watched her grow up. He brought her when she was a puppy. Rottweilers get big. She was like this. Within a year, so she lived to 8 years. And I didn't know that was the average lifespan of a Rottweiler. I thought the Rottweilers lived longer. He said, no, 8 years. So she lived for 8 years. Only, when I say only, you know, in dog years, that's like a lot. Because he was telling me that toward the end, I know she had arthritis and all that, things like that. And you know, like when you was talking about in your video, that you noticed she was you know, and I was thinking about Jill's cat too, Paul. So I know when Jill's adopted Paul the cat, I think Paul the cat was already a couple of years already or whatever. So now you know, Jill's has Paul the cat for a few years now. It's been a while now. So Paul the cat is up there too. And you know, and when I watch it, you know, when I seen the recent videos of Paul the cat, he always looks like he's just sleeping. He just, you know, and Paul the cat is a lot bigger. So I'm thinking, wow, Paul the cat. I wonder how old Paul the cat is. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. 15 years is a long life. God bless for that. That she lived a long life, and that, you know, you got to be a part of that, and she got to be a part of your life, because that's a long, you know, if you look back 15 years, that's, you know, I was what, right now I'm gonna turn 59, so I would have been like 40. Well, let me see, take away 15, 44. I look back 44. I was a spring chicken at 44. So, you know, I'm not making light of it, but you know, I know you're younger. So 15 years, that's a long time. That means that, you know, you was very young. You was very young. You was a teenager when Linda was born. So that's a lot. That's like half of your life or something. Because I don't want to reveal your age, but I know you're young. So that's a lot, and that's a big deal. You know, so yeah, so I'm sorry to hear about Linda's passing. Now, I was going to ask you a question about the channel. Because I know Linda and the Birds, you know that I know you went over 1,000 subscribers with that channel. Are you planning to keep that channel in memory of Linda? And, you know, here goes my take on it. If you're going to keep the channel, you know, you can rename it in memory of Linda. And then you could write down in the description that this was Linda's channel. And then now that, you know, you put the date, whatever, then, you know, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you to do this, but if it was me, I don't think you should. I don't know if you're thinking about deleting it. Now, obviously, we all handle grief differently. Somebody will say, "Oh, delete the channel, whatever." For example, I'll give you an example. Now, this is not bet related. Like I already made it clear to my wife, if something were to happen to me, like my passing, I told her, do not delete my channel. Even if you don't want to run the account, I get it. Just, I don't care. Give it the username and password. I don't care, whatever. But leave my channel open. Just, if you want to edit it, put in memory of whatever. Or put in there what happened to me. But I'll leave the channel open. And I would just leave it as an archive. Only because I think that you should always have you know, you shared the world, Linda. Right? Now that she's gone, I would not stop doing that. I would just leave it. Even if you don't add no more, even if you don't add, you know, you put the video there. I saw the video, by the way, the one that you did on the Tasso channel. You did the same video. I would, you know, I will leave it at that video for the Linda channel. Now that's me talking to you. Now I know we handle grief differently. And some people say, well, you know, if like I you know what, I can't tell you, and I shouldn't tell you, and I'm not telling you that. But if it was, if I will not delete that channel. That's what I'm trying to say. and whatever. I don't. But that's just me. You know. Okay. So anyway, I skipped down here. All right, so let me read them. My brother adopted Linda from the litter of kittens. Okay, so we've been all 15 years. Okay, wow, yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time. Yeah, I mean, if I do the math, I don't want to speculate how old you are, but that's like almost half of your life, right? Or half of your life or something. Yeah, that's a big yeah, oh, teenage. See, so yeah, that's a big, yeah, that's very significant. Yeah, so like I said, I'm sorry, and like you said, you knew. I mean, you knew one day it will, By the way, for all pet owners, by the way, there's some breeds that don't, like I said, my neighbor, 8 years. I didn't know Rottweilers. Yeah, I said, don't they live? He said, no. Rottweilers. He said, Rottweilers, some might live up to 10, but that's it. They said that usually, because they grow so fast. It's like you speed up the clock, as humans, as us humans, we don't, I think we don't appreciate that with animals, that their biological clock is a lot faster than ours. When you hear about, oh, my dog is 7 years old and he has arthritis, and I'm like, really? But in dog years, it's a lot. That's like, what? If you do the math, I don't know off the top of my head. Depends on the breed. That's that's like, that dog is like in their 50s or 60s. You understand what I'm saying? I know you understand, but there's some people that don't understand that their biological clock is accelerated. Their growth is accelerated. So the stuff that, as they're growing, it might be 10 years old. This guy, you think it's a baby? No, it's not a baby. It's a mature. Not only is an adult. I mean, not only is a mature adult. Not only is mature, but it's older. It's a lot older, and then they have the complication from like older. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have arthritis. They're gonna have all these other things. They're gonna have all these other ailments. Like Frenchies. I think Frenchie's lifespan is like a Frenchie Bulldog lifespan. I heard is like 6 or 7 years or something like that. It's not that long. Or some breeds, they're like, So yeah, it's So when you have a pet, you have to, there's always gonna be that. There's very few. I'm gonna say that I think there's very few animals in this planet that outlive humans. And I'm talking about like in terms of domestic animals, like pets. There are some animals in the wild. That could live. By the way, there's some animals that outlive humans by a lot, like a turtle. There's certain turtles that live 200 years. At least 200 years. That I know. I know that. I remember watching. And turtles live up way over 200 years. Imagine that. They started as a little turtle from an egg. And the turtle is as big as big. And we're talking about, like in the Galapagos Islands, and they see these massive turtles. They're 200 years old. So they're old. They're just as old as the history of the United States. Or very close to it. 200 plus years. Things like that. And parrots. There's some birds that live 100 years. There's some birds. I know there's some birds that yeah. Yeah. So let me read up here. Yeah, of course you're gonna miss her. Tasso, I miss her so much. She will always be live in my heart. I know even when you do your own lives, yeah, because like I said, she's a part of, she's a part, she's always, yeah, no, that's an empty void. I know. It's a big void too. Now, of course, you're grieving right now. I don't know if you have, you have plans in the future to maybe adopt another cat or whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna, you don't have to say anything about that now. I'm just saying, but I just wondered about the channel. Like, are you gonna leave the channel and maybe just leave it like that in memory of her? Or if I was, I'm just saying, me in the same situation, I would leave it in her honor. I will leave it in her honor, and of course, you updated it. Everybody knows now in that channel that and then now your other channel, like I say, like you say, I know you're gonna take a break. Understandably, I understand that because even on your other channel, she's a part of your life. So of course, take your time and all that. But that's just me. I'm just saying, I just wondered about that if you're gonna delete the channel, because the way I feel about deleting the channel is like, I'd rather leave. I rather at least, because you know what, we all remember her. I want to remember her too. So I will go in there once, and look at it and say, oh yeah, look, I remember her. I wouldn't want somebody to delete it and then be like, oh, we can't, But anyway, I'm sometimes I just ramble. I'm sorry. But yeah, I miss her so I miss her so much. She will always be always live in my heart. I have videos of her on both channels. I plan to leave it up as of now. Yeah, and she was so she was a big part of your life. That's a lot. That's a lot. Times I have many pictures and videos that were never posted. Maybe one day. That's another thing. Of course, right now I know you're dealing with. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Maybe or you might not want to need to post. Maybe you just keep it in your own private thing. Or if you want to share it, you can share it. That's fine. Yeah. And then let me see when I wanna. Oh, sorry, I skipped too much here. So I have many pictures and videos that were never posted. Maybe one day. Yeah, I know it's hard now. Looking back at these memories, we cherish. Linda was very healthy, and we were blessed to the end. Yeah, I know. I still have the images of the AI. I was going through my images folder the other day. Now I'm definitely gonna keep them now. And just in case I send you the AI pictures. Because ChatGPT shut down the thing. The Sora. So it was on the 26th, I think they shut it down. So I was like, oh my God, I was scrambling there to get all the download all the pictures. So when I saw the picture of the Linda ones, I already had downloaded it. So I was like, okay, so I already have them on my hard drive. And then I already had sent you them. So, but yeah, like stuff like that, now, of course, you could, I don't know, print it out and hang it on the wall somewhere. Because I remember the images. Yeah. So I took a break from YouTube and had no plans of uploading, but I had to in memory of Linda. Yeah, I know. It was hard. I can imagine it was hard to do that video. But you know what? You did good. You did good. I mean, you did good. You said what you said in the camera, and that's fine. And we all, we're all sorry for your loss. Tasso, I want to thank everyone in the community for the condolences and love for Linda through the videos, and thank you, Danny, for being such a good friend. You're welcome, and you're a friend to me, man. When you sang "Happy Birthday" to Linda, her 15th birthday, It was the first day of the 30-day live stream, and I recorded it. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And I see, and unfortunately for me, I don't have that. By the way, I don't have that because, YouTube, once I went over 12 hours, I lost that whole video on demand. It's all gone. But I'm glad you have it. So that's cool. Yeah. Just wanted to let you know. I thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, wow. That really made my day right there. That you recorded that. Yeah, that was the first day. I know. I remember saying I didn't know it was the first day of my 30-day live stream that happened. I mean, her birthday was on the first day of the 30-day live stream. Wow. No, wow. So, and Tasso says that was very special and she was here with me. Wow. Yeah. I know, and you told me that she reacted. She was looking at the live stream. She reacted when I was singing, which is cool. I remember that. I remember when I sang to her that she reacted. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry to hear that. It's a part of life. We all go through that. I mean, we all, as we get older, especially, I mean, you're still pretty young compared to me. You're still pretty young. As you get older, it's gonna be more and more. Fortunately, but in my case, 8 brothers and sister, and during the live stream, I lost my brother. I lost my brother Harold, even though, toward the end, our relationship was not the best, but, I think about him every day. I was thinking about him yesterday, actually. I was walking, and I don't know, just random thought came through my head. I was thinking about him. I was thinking about him. So, when they say the pain goes away, it never goes away. It doesn't go away. It just doesn't come up as often, And there's times it's going to remind you. There's times it's going to hit you a little harder. For me, of course, obviously, it's going to be the holidays. Things like that. Certain events. Like right now, Mother's Day is coming up. Now, my mother, that's the first thing that's going to come to my head. My mother, her mother, my mom-in-law, right away. That's the first thing that's going to strike us both, is our moms is gone. And then my wife's birthday is on the same day. Well, I don't know what Mother's Day falls on this year. I think it's always the same. I don't remember. I have to check the calendar. Let me see something. I'm sorry. Just I don't think that ever changes. But let's see. What is it? Oh yeah, it does change. Okay, so today, it's Mother's Day this year's so it's early this year. It's on the 10th. Okay. Yeah, so Mother's Day this year is my wife's birthday. Like last year, it fell on my wife's birthday, the same day. So it was more significant. Like she didn't really want to, we were going to go out to dinner and all that, but she didn't really want to, go anywhere. But yeah, it's always like that. As you grow older, and it's especially with pets. Pets, like 15 years is a long life. And the fact that you spent all 15 years, that's very special. It is. It's a long, yeah. Yes, Danny, I remember the 30-day live. Send you virtual hugs, my friend. They will continue to live through us. Yeah, exactly. They're a blessing. They bring us so much. You know, like unfortunately for me, I cannot have any. You know, but that's okay. You know, I mean, not everybody. But yeah, I mean, when I see Jill's with his cat, Paul, and I see your cat, I see. I always want one. I always wanted a cat, and not because you guys have it, but it is nice to have another companion that sometimes is, of course, when I say sometimes, I should have said that. Because, I do have a wife, but she could be a little. Animals don't judge you. That's what I'm trying to say. Pets won't judge you like a dog or a cat. They just, that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Some people exaggerate with that when they say we don't deserve them. No, it's not that. It's just that, the loyal part is they're loyal. I watch. I even though I don't own any pets, I watch a lot of pet videos, and I'm always liking them, and I'm always leaving comments on them. I'm like, oh my god, and when I scroll, half of it is pets videos. I just, like if I myself personally, if I could, if I could have pets, I would have like 5 of them here. Be all over the place. But the reality is I can't. I just can't with this. Yeah, I just can't. But that's okay. I still appreciate them. Like I said, when I watch you guys, it brings me joy. It brings me joy to see it. So that's what I'm trying to say. So Linda was a joy for all of us. She was. She no matter what happened during the day, whatever going on in my life, and I will see, like, even when I went to Jill's live stream and I would see Paul, I was like, oh my God, he's such a beautiful cat. And same thing with Linda. I was like, oh my God, she's so, cute and all that. And that's that's the gift. That they bring us joy. They bring us so much joy. And, happiness and makes us forget about all the other nonsense that goes up in the world and everything. And, yeah, so you got that from. She gave you some good, best 15 years of your life. So there you go. So, you have memories. You have, and you learn some stuff. You learn through her. You learn things. You learn, believe it or not, you learn things. You learn about patience. You learn about all these things. There's a lot of lessons to be learned. Yeah, it is. I remember my youngest, my youngest daughter too. I bought her a guinea pig. And I had pets growing up. We had a few pets. We had a few dogs. I had one cat. I was one cat. It was a Siamese cat. But she was a stray cat. She would come one day she came into the house. She went right to my room. And she didn't want to leave. She was there hanging around the basement. So I had her for a couple of months. And then, she would, of course, she lay next to me. Like, I was like, when? I think I was like 14 or 15. And she just laid, and, go out all day, come back, go out all day. One day I didn't see her. That was it. I just never saw her. I mean, I know what happened. I won't talk about what happened because it was with my neighbor. But, it did bring me joy and all that. And So when I bought my daughter the guinea pig, it was like the first time, it was the first time my daughter had a pet. And she loved them. She loved the guinea pig. It was a little brown guinea pig. So I called him Meatball. Of course, they named him Joey. So guinea pigs, the average lifespan of a guinea pig is maybe, I think it's like the most 6 years. So, it was already pretty big. And I got it from the pet shop. So that guinea pig was already a couple of years old at least. At least a couple of years old. Might have been at least a couple of years old. I don't know. So she had it for about a year, and then he passed away. And my God, my daughter was, oof. She was inconsolable for a couple of days. Take care, T-Radio 972. Have a good night. She was inconsolable for a couple of days. Wow. Yeah, I felt so bad. I was like, and I you know what? I felt guilty because I gave her that. I bought her that guinea pig, and I didn't want to see my daughter go through that grief. But that's the part that she's gonna live. She's gonna have to go through. Life is like that, and that's why I keep saying you enjoy the time you have with everybody, including your pet, especially. When I say especially, take that back. Enjoy your time with everybody. Everybody. And that means people and pets, animals, pets. Because, we don't live forever. We don't, and of course, especially, pet owners, they know, pets live an accelerated life. So, you may, in your mind, you may think they're going to live to be, when you're in your old age, they're going to be there. No. They live an accelerated life. So, you have to be, mindful that you might get 10 years. You might get, you're the exception, Tasso. 15 years is a long time. It's a very long time for a cat. That's a very long time. So she lived a long life. So, you have to think about that. She lived a long life. And like you said, the doctor said, yeah, we could help, we could extend her a little longer, but she's gonna suffer. And then you did the right thing. You did the right thing. You didn't want to any more suffer, so you did the right thing. She lived a long life, and she touched a lot of people. So, and we all how you say, we all got blessed by her. Even though I never physically got to pet her, but she touched all of us. So that's the mark that she left. That's how we were gonna remember her. We're gonna remember her from the live streams. We're gonna remember her from, and that's the part that, what? She left the impact on all of us. So there you go. And I'll close it out at that. Hunter Wilbur, meow. Okay. Okay, meow. John Ludbrook, you got to think of the good times. Rest of my family, no good times. Only one cared. My mom, she passed away in 2003. No doubt, Dad. Never nice. Mom gave me love and value. Your mom, you turned to be a good man. Yeah, and you have to, like I said, I lost my brother during the live stream, early second week, I think it was. When I think about him, I don't think about the last part of the way he was toward the end. I think about him, about his when we were kids. I think about that. That's the point I want to remember him as. I didn't want to remember him from what happened the last few years, like the last 15 years of our life, and he became this other person, and I don't remember that. I don't want to remember that. I remember, growing up. I remember when he was like the first one in the family that used to build model airplanes and all that, and we all started doing the same thing. So I remember him from that. I remember he watched a lot of history stuff on TV. And then, I got into watching a lot of history stuff too. So like, some of him isn't me too. So, and that's the same thing, with everybody. I always try to remember the good of them. Try to take the good about them. Whatever happened, bad stuff, you know what? Forget about it. Let it go. Try to see the good in people. So, and by the way, so, I'm talking about my brother now. I'm not talking about Linda. Of course, Linda, you know what? She was a gift. She was a gift from God. And she blessed you with 15 years. 15 good years of your life. Okay? So, that's a lot. That's 15 years, It's like, you gotta wait it too. Sometimes people don't get that. People don't have, when I grew up with people that their mom passed away when they were little kids. My mom, when she passed away, she was 86 years old. She lived a long life. I was already grown adult. So when she left, it wasn't like, she passed away at 30. She passed away at 86. She was knocking on the door at 90 years old. So that's a long life. So if you put that in equivalent of a cat, 15 years, what is that equivalent of? I don't know. I can look it up, but every species is different. Every species of cat is different. Some cats can live longer than other species. Same thing with dogs. Like I said, I didn't know my neighbor across the street because I didn't see Maya for a couple of months. And then he told me, and I asked him, where's Maya? He said, oh, you don't know? I said, no. I said, no, she passed away a couple of months ago. I was like, really? He said, yeah, she was old. And I was like, what you mean old? He said, yeah, she's 8 years old. She was 8. I said, so that's old for, he said, yeah, for a Rottweiler, that's old. For a Rottweiler, that's as old as you can get. And I'm thinking about, I'm like, wow, but she was so big. Wow, when she stand up, she was taller than me. Like if she would stand up, she'll knock you down. She'll knock you down. And I'm 5'9", and I weigh 280 pounds. That dog was it was 150 pounds. That dog can knock you down. And 8 years. I was like, wow. He said, yeah. He said, yeah. I was like, okay. He told me what happened. I was like, wow. So now he has another dog. He has a little. Well, she's not little now. He has another dog, another Rottweiler. His name is Max. He was a puppy a few months ago. He's already this tall. He's not even a year old. He's maybe 6 months. The lighting changes like Chris, sorry. I'm no lie. 6 months, he's already tall. So they're accelerated. A few months ago, he was a little puppy in his lap. He was a little puppy. My son even petted, because my son is afraid. My son is afraid of dogs. My son petted him and everything. My son now looks at him, he's tall now. My son is 11 years old. That dog would knock over me or my son right now. He's only in 6, maybe 7 months now. Yeah, and he's tall already. By next year, he's gonna be 100 pounds. By next year, he'll be 100 pounds. They get big fast. So right now, he looks tall already. So we got to keep that in mind, that they live an accelerated life. Very accelerated life. So, you know. Yeah. John Leber, I was upset when my mom passed away. Another family came to tell me got one very cold. Yeah, but you know what? That's gonna happen. No, that's what happened with my brother. My brother, when he passed away, you know, a lot of us, you know, when I got informed by it, it didn't hit me. You know, you know, like my dad. When my dad passed away, I didn't cry because he was never part of my life. Later on, you know, I would say it, you know, in my head, I would say that I wish I had a relationship with my father. I still always wish I had a relationship with my father. But we don't have control over these things. You know, I'm going through that right now with my two daughters. You know, my youngest daughter, her childhood, I spent with her. But then around, I'm gonna say after high school, they moved away. They lived up in Middleton. They lived up there in upstate, and then of course she went out to college and whatever. Now she has her own life and all that. I have not seen her in quite a few years now. But you know, these things happen. Yeah, well, exactly. John Love, I fell on the floor. Cold phone call hit me. Yeah, I feel no hate for my family. Just feel sorry for them. I wouldn't even go as far as feeling sorry for them. I would just move on. You know. Right now, I have a brother and sister that lives in the Bronx. They don't want to be part of my family and my circle, my own. Remember, I got married. I started my own family. They don't want to be a part of my own family. That's fine. They have their own life. They all have their busy lives. That's fine with them. Because it works both ways. That's what happened to my brother that passed away. My brother Harold, that he just passed away a few months ago. A couple of months ago. He was too busy to come in. They were too busy to come and see me and whatever, or invite me to their house for the holidays, because they have holidays in their place. They could have invited us to spend holidays with them. They chose not to do that. You know, because what happened? What happened was when my mom was the glue to the family. So my brother and sister, my mom was the last. My mom was the glue. When my mom passed away, they all started. All they thought about was the house. They wanted, you know, who's going to take over the house. Who, you know, they all they thought about was monetary stuff instead of sticking together. And then by the time I moved out, my wife and I got married. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. That's their loss now. And that's what happened. That's what happened with the with his passing. All my brothers know, because I already warned them about it. I said, listen, the day you wind up in a hospital bed, don't come and ask for me. You chose this path. I hate to sound that way. Everybody chooses their path. When you burn bridges, sometimes bridges are not repairable. Some bridges you can build, but some bridges can never be rebuilt. And that's what happened with them. They had so many chances. because everybody here knows the history about my mother's ashes. It was dumb. It was dumb that botched up that whole thing. I wanted to give a proper sending, and they botched everything up. Until I threatened them with this one getting evicted and the other one getting evicted, that they came and gave me the ashes. Let me tell you something. I don't forgive that. Actually, I did forgive it, but I don't forget it. That's what I meant to say. I will forgive them for that because they gave, but I don't forget it. And I kept telling them, I said, oh, you guys want to be like this? Okay, fine. I keep inviting. I will invite them every year. For the first few years I lived here, no lie, I invite them every year to come over here, have Christmas dinner and all that. I have, like, they live in an apartment. The other one lives in an apartment. We live in a house. We have a backyard. We have all this stuff. We can, I could throw a bigger dinner here and all that. They chose not to come here. Okay. Like you just said, that's their loss. Okay. My mom in heaven knows that. I already told my mom, I try to reunify everybody. I try to keep the family together in memory of my mother, especially in memory of my mother. They just said, no, we don't have time for you no more. We don't care. They never did anyway, but now they really doubled down on that. So, okay, but don't come to me. Don't come to me when you need something. And that's what happened. Don't come to me when you need something, because then it's going to be too late. There's, how you say it? You could only throw the life raft. You could only throw the life raft out there so long in the ocean. And if they don't want to grab onto that life raft, guess what's going to happen to you, buddy? You're going to sink to the bottom. So that life raft, after a while, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm in this boat now. You don't want to be a part of this boat. I'm going to pull the life raft in. I'm going to sail away. I'm going to sail away, and you're going to be in the ocean somewhere. That's it. That's it. You see? So, that's why it goes back to what I was telling Tasso. Appreciate the ones around you. The ones that want to be there around you, love them. Give them everything. The ones that really are around you, that want to be, and by the way, we're talking about humans now, but, of course, pets, they're unconditional. Pets are unconditional. They love you no matter what. Of course, us humans, we have flaws. We have flaws when it comes to that part. There is no unconditional. Very rarely unconditional. Usually there's always some, I've been blessed. I do have my wife is, I cannot ask no more for a perfect person in my life. She has a great heart. She's a good person. She has a great heart. She's a good person. She's a smart person, a well-rounded person, a very giving person. I'm blessed. I'm blessed by her. Believe me, I'm blessed by her. I'm blessed by her. Sometimes I need to be smacked in the head to remind myself about that. So, yeah. So. Yeah. I'm sorry we're going down this route, Glenn. I'm not going to be on too long anyway. I've been on for, 2 hours and 38 minutes already. Yeah, I was only planning to be on for about maybe 2 hours. Yeah, so I'm not going to be on too long. But yeah, anyway, thank you, Glenn, for watching. Yeah, good night. I have to leave this conversation. I'm 73 years old, and yeah, I know devils all around me. I know, I'm sorry to hear that. Friends, family, friends, pets, I know. It's some, I know. It's hard. Yeah. So let me see where I'm at now. Yeah. Exactly. John Doug, that's their loss. Thank you. I appreciate that. You help people have a good heart, solid, and Yeah. Yeah, I know. But I believe it's something else. I don't believe I don't believe they just have stone hearts. I think that some people just went through some traumatic experience in their life that they just shut down. You know? I think that maybe they had their heart broken a long time ago by somebody else or whatever, and they just decided, well, I'm not gonna trust anybody anymore or whatever. I don't think they're born that way. I think that something's behind there. I believe that I believe a lot. I believe some of it is trauma. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But I've seen that. I called it out a few times in my lifetime. When people say, "Oh, why this person?" and I told them, I said, "This person probably went through some stuff, and this person was abused or whatever," and then I turned out to be correct. I know because it happened to me. That's why I'm saying it. I think some people go through some trauma in their life, and I went through that phase too. I went through the whole me phase when I was in my 20s. I thought I was gonna be, multimillionaire many times over. I thought I was a whiz kid when I was in my 20s, and then reality hit me in the face. By the time I was 30, I was so depressed because I didn't achieve anything. And I was depressed. I mean, I was, woof. You already know the history about that. So yeah, I don't think they just have stone hearts. I think everybody went through some trauma or something, and that's their defense mechanism, is to be cold. Or they choose not to deal with it and just be like that, I think it's more reactionary. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so let me see what else we could talk about. And like I said, I hope Tasso. I love you, Tasso, and God bless you and your beautiful cat, Linda. Yeah. All right. I know these subjects are difficult to talk about it, but you know what? That's why I don't shy away from that. There's people that do that in channels. I don't do that. I don't shy away from it. Because at the end of the day, we all here. I know you guys watch me, and I appreciate that. By the way, thank you all. Because I appreciate that. I'm not the most entertaining person in the world. I'm not. I know that. I'm not entertaining person. I know a lot of people can watch somebody else do wildly entertaining stuff and be funny and all that. Me, I don't come here with a script. I stream and I talk, and we talk about anything you want to talk about. We talked about a lot of stuff today. And now we're approaching the 3rd hour, and, we're getting to the subject. And I'm not going to shy away from stuff like that. I'm not going to... Some channels are like that. I don't talk about that because, it's not good for the channel. No, I'm not doing that. Because some of you guys, a lot of you guys actually, take your time out of your life to watch me. To watch just me, me. I'm just another guy doing... And you guys watch me, and you guys watch me for hours. So that tells me that, you know what, it's not about entertaining. It's about whatever. It's like, it's like when I listen to somebody on a radio show that I listen to. There's some people I listen to them because I just enjoy who they are. Like I wish that guy lived down the block from me and we can hang out. There's people I watch. Even to this day, some of them I don't agree with them in their politics, whatever. But there's some people I wish we knew each other personally. I'm not afraid to say that. By the way, I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not, like, for example, even Jills. I love Jills. I love Jills. You know, he's going through his own stuff right now. I know he's going through the caregiving duties, and I appreciate, I appreciate who he is. He's genuine, even if it means I don't agree with that part of it. But that's okay. That is okay, people. That's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. We're not supposed to. You know? And like I said, that's okay. Now, what like I said, unfortunately, some things I won't do anytime soon. When I go on a channel or any other channel right now, I'm kind of not doing that anymore. Not as much. Like, for example, earlier I was on Robbie Strike's live stream for a couple of minutes. But he was already ending his stream. I went in there. I was just going to chat with him there. But not too many live streams I go into. But, it's just because some of it is because of me, and I've been busy with other stuff. But some channels now, I don't go in there because, it's there too. But the host itself, I don't have anything against, we need to appreciate the good in everybody and not focus on the negative stuff all the time. Not focus on it. As you notice lately, I haven't been talking about any events and because I'm kind of burned out about it. All this political stuff burned me out. We the people who elected who we elected. And now we're living with it. That's fine. I'm still okay with that vote. Although some of the stuff, now it's like, okay, now what we do. But, I don't want to talk about that all the time. I don't even want to hit on the radio. I haven't been listening to these stations lately. And that's what you should do. You should not be pegged into one thing. You should not be pegged into one thing. You should listen to whatever you want to listen to. That's why I'm not afraid to talk about anything, especially, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to express yourself. Life is not, you say, it's not supposed to be easy. It's complicated. It's complicated. It is. It's complicated. Some of us go through. I know people that go through life without a care in the world. I don't understand those people, but hey, if that works for you, that works for you. That's great. People that they go through life with a care in the world, without a care in the world. They just. Me, I'm always a thinker. I think that, but that helped me out. That helped me out to stay out of trouble in some things. I'm not a crazy professional risk taker. I didn't care about, some people love driving fast, and I didn't care about all that stuff. Maybe that's what saved my life. What I mean by that is I never gravitated into, I want to get a car and I want to drive down the highway at 75 miles an hour. I didn't care about all that. How I would have done that, who knows? I would have wound up into I wouldn't be here. I don't know. And God has a plan for all of us. And God had a plan for me not to be a driver. And I'm not a driver. I'm not a driver. I thank God for that. I'm not a driver. Like, I know people say, the stereotype about, we don't drive, well, whatever. Well, I remember early in my 20s, I remember, you still live with your mother? I lived with my mom until I was, almost 40 years old. No, past 40. Because she lived in the same house. Until I was 40, mid-40s. I lived home. No shame in that. But, of course you're going to get those that are going to be like, whoa, your mama's boy. No, it's not that. We we had a house like this one. You know, it's not a mansion, but it was a house that, you know, your mom could live there, and it's a cultural thing. In some cultures, you're obligated to take care of your mom. I know some cultures are like that. Some cultures, if you get married, not only have to take care of your parents, you got to take care of their parents, your in-laws. You're obligated to take care of them too. You know, some people don't understand that. Some people think, oh, you live with your mom, then you're a loser. No, it's not that the case. You know? By the way, those are the same people that are going to be crying later on in life. Oh, I miss my mom. Oh, you know. Okay, well, if you miss your mom so much, why you shoved her in a home then? You see what I'm saying? You know? Believe me, I see that a lot. I see that a lot too. You missed her, but yet you shoved her in a home. You know? But yeah, our culture was that. So I dealt with that stigma. I dealt with that whole, you live with your mom. You know, when I was in my 20s and 30s, you live with your mom. So it was like, of course, some people see that as, you know, you're not very, no, I love family. I love, you know, that's what that means. You know, that means, you know, family-oriented man. That means that, you know, if I had a relationship with, that means that eventually I would like to have a family. Is that a bad thing? You see what I'm saying? So you can't judge people by that. You can't judge people by that. You can't judge a person by that. Oh, they live with their parent. No, a lot of people live with their parents. By the way, more even now. By the way, I saw, I heard on the radio, it was on the news. It was about a week ago, I heard on the radio. I think like more than half of all college graduates still live with their parents. This is not 1970 something. This is not the 60s. This is you know, now. Because why? Obviously, it's more economic now. It's, first of all, number one is student loan debt. That's a big one now. A lot of students now, when they graduate from college, they usually already have like heavy debt. Like, you know, heavy debt. You know, like they owe a lot of money. Especially if they went to like you know, we're talking about 6-figure debt, $100,000 and over $100,000 debt. Of course, rent is a lot higher now. It's not as affordable as it was years ago. Also, back then when you graduate from college, you was pretty much, when you graduated from college many years ago, you had a good, your first job was going to be a solid middle class job. That's what happened to me when I graduated from college. I thought I was going to make money. Nope. Nothing like that. It was the opposite. I struggled to get any job in my industry. There was so much competition in my industry, especially from, you know, overseas, you know, immigrants coming here and working in the same industry, and they would work for a lot less. They were lowball. So I had to compete with that in technology. So, I know people are going to say, well, that's racist. No, that's not racist. That's a fact. So, you know, you got to compete with that. Now, back then, it's like you didn't have a global market. Now it's a global market. So you got competition from all over the world coming here. Also, let me say, now the last one, buying a house is a lot more expensive. You want to buy a house now? In the United States, the average price of a house now is at least over $250,000 or higher. It's not $75,000. You know, years ago, you could get a house for $75,000, a decent house. Nope. Not in any major populated area now. Unless you live in a boondock somewhere, in a rural area, you might get lucky if you get 100,000. You get a house. $100 gonna cost. Now it's $250,000, 300,000. This area of Yonkers, everything is over 400 here. 400, maybe 300, upper 300. Really run down, might be 300,000. Fixer up or whatever. It's not affordable anymore. So a lot of people will live with their parents now. John Ludbrook, Indian and Pakistani, Caribbean people. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's me, Caribbean. My wife, Indian. That's our custom. Our custom is you take care of your mother, you take care of your parents until the day they're gone. They raised you. They right? Your mom birthed you. Your mom gave birth to you. She nurtured you to be an adult. Now, in her later years, you need to take care of her. Not shove her in a home. That's our custom. And Caribbean custom and even Latin custom. I know Caribbean custom is like that. We take care of our elders, of our parents and grandparents. It's not about that stupid stigma. Oh, you live with your mom and dad. Yeah. In the same home, exactly. But yeah, life is how you say, we have phases. We go through our phases in life. You get older, you get wiser. That's true. That's true. I remember when I was in my 20s, and my elders used to tell me all the time, do this, do that. And I would say, you don't know what you're talking about. And they turn out to be right, and you turn out to look like egg on your face. Yeah. So 2 hours and 57 minutes in the books. Yeah. So anyway, let me see. James Farley is still on here. I'm not gonna get the mesh static thing. I'm gonna wait on that. Because I'm gonna get the coax for the third antenna. So that's one immediate thing I haven't made any major. Well, I did make one major purchase. I did buy the DP666. I still have a little bit of YouTube money left. So I'm gonna get the coax for not the TV antenna right now. I'm gonna get one. I was gonna get 2 coaxes, but I'm gonna get one for the third FM antenna. I'm gonna get that. Probably gonna order it tonight. And then I was gonna get the mesh static thing, but I'm gonna get the gimbal. I'm going to order the gimbal because I really want to see if that helps with my phone. When I shoot outside and walk. Not the streaming. The streaming, that's the bit rate. When it looks like that in the streaming, that's the streaming itself. So like that stream yesterday, that was the bit rate that made it choppy. So I'm not talking about that. The gimbal is not for the streaming. It helps a little bit. It's more for just shooting video when I'm walking. That should fix the video. Yeah, I'm going to wait on that. So I'm going to get the gimbal. I do need the coax. That is what I need right away. I do need the coax for the third antenna. And then I'm probably going to get my headphones. The headphones. I know Todd donated $20 for the headphones, so I'm gonna get the headphones, and then that'll be it for now. And then because I am going to do a 30-day live stream coming up. But this 30-day live stream, I'm going to let it roll. There's not going to be no video on demand. I already know that now. But I'm going to do another 30-day live stream for the World Cup. It is coming up. That's going to be June. So that's going to be June. I believe June 10th or June 11th. I have to look at the calendar. I have to see. But yeah, the 30 live stream. Now, I don't know. I have to, because I know we might do we might go on vacation. Might drive away somewhere. I don't know. I'm hoping that. But anyway, I'm going to do a live stream as long as I can for the World Cup. Because I just miss it. I want to do another long one. But I don't know. Let me see. I already announced it. Or I may just come on 30 days straight. Like do 30, I'll let it roll for like 10 or 11 hours. 10, 11 hours, I'll let it roll. Right? 10, 11 hours, I'll let it roll. Because even if I go somewhere, I can still let it roll. But I don't know if I can do a long one where I'm at. If I go somewhere. So I may do 30 days straight. Like 24/7, let it roll. Or I may just come on every day for 30 days. For the World Cup. Because the World Cup is a month-long event. The World Cup is going to be from, I believe, June 11th to the 19th of July. So I want to do something for the World Cup. So yeah, okay, so you agree, okay. So what I'll do is I'll do 30 straight days. Right? One day, every day I'll come and whatever, and I'll let it roll. When I'm not here, I'll pull the stuff. At least I'll get the video demand. Every day I'll get a video, a big 10-hour video or 11-hour video, whatever it is. But I have to end it before 12 hours. That's the only thing I have to do is I cannot go over 12 hours. Because then I lose the whole video on demand. So yeah, okay. So then, okay, I was gonna do a poll on it, but I'm already leaning toward the opposite. So, okay, so then you know what? I'm gonna probably do 30 days. I'll do the 30 days straight thing, because you know what? It's summertime, World Cup. Plus we don't know if we're gonna go somewhere in between that date. We might go to Puerto Rico. Yeah, I know, 11 hours, 54 minutes or something like that. So. Because YouTube has this rule. Because even if you do a 24-hour live stream, you lose the whole 24 hours. That's it. You don't get, there's no, see, I thought that you would get the last 12 hours of the whole live stream, but you don't. You don't. No. So YouTube, after 12 hours, you don't get nothing. Like once you end the stream, you never get, if you go over 12 hours, you get nothing. I didn't know that. I thought that when you did the stream, the last 12 hours, they will keep that. But I didn't know that. But that's why I'm glad I did it, because I learned from it. So yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that I'll do 30. Yeah, because I could do 30 days straight. I could do 30 days straight. That's not an issue. Of course, some of them are not going to be, I think some of them, they might be 10 hours long. Some of them, it'll be little, maybe they might be 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. I don't know. Depending on what goes on that day. Actually, you know what? That sounds a lot better. Yeah, it'd be better. It'd be better now. It won't be better for me. It'd be better for the channel. Because that'll be more views because of the replay. The replay will get more views. I think overall, I think the replay will get more views. All right, so I could put like day one of the 30-day like day one of the World Cup. Day one of the World Cup all the way to day 31 of the World Cup. But the World Cup is more than No, actually, it'd be like day 1 all the way to 30. Is it 39 days of the World Cup? How many days are in the World Cup? Let me see. Let me check right now. World Cup. How long is space, Danny? Is the World Cup 2026? Let me see. 39 days. Okay. So we're gonna do 39 days in a row. So we wow, 39 days in a row. So it's 39 days in a 39-day event. 39 days. All right. So it's gonna be 39. So one stream every day for 39 days straight. Wow. Woo, that's a lot of content right there, baby. Get ready. Get ready. Yeah. I'm up to it, bro. I'm up to it. All right. Sounds like a plan. All right. Yeah, so James Farley said that's cool. I'm glad you waited. Yeah, I'm gonna wait on the mesh thing. I want to get stuff for the streaming, so I want to get my headphones. I'm gonna get headphones, and of course I'm gonna get the coax for the third and for the third antenna. When I put that one up, I'm gonna put up the 2-meter whip. I'll leave the TV antenna for later on, because right now I really want I want a third FM antenna option for FMDXC, and that whip antenna that's gonna go straight to my 2-meter radio. And that whip antenna is going to go to my 2-meter radio for this one. So I could talk on repeaters. 2-meter, 70 centimeter radio. GMRS, if I do the software thing, I could probably talk on GMRS. Or, yeah, I could talk on GMRS on this with that antenna. So that LMR 400, I'm going to put it up there. I have the LMR 400 already. I just got to clean up the connectors. I'm going to run it down through the pass-through, connect it to this radio. But I'm going to connect it to a switch first. Then one is going to go to this radio. So one is going to go to this radio. One is going to go to my Yaesu FT991 because that one is VHF, UHF also. The third one probably going to go to a scanner. Oh no. Well, I gotta bring down the discone for this. I gotta put a wire on another antenna switch because I want to switch the discone and the CB radio. But that one, yeah. Because the discone, I need to split the discone now because I want so. So anyway, it's gonna be this radio for now, that whip and the Yaesu. Because that one also I want to talk on repeaters, but that one I can do system fusion. I can do digital voice on that one through the repeater. So that one I could talk to people around the world on that one. With the local repeater. I know that I have local repeaters here that have a YSF. And that's why I bought that for. I really bought that for I can use it with that radio. But I have this radio too, and I want to use this radio also. So, all right, so that sounds like a plan. So I'm definitely going to get the coax for the third one, and then I'll get the headphone on. So I'm going to probably order it tonight. So there you go. There you go. There you go. And when I had that ready for, I'm putting it in a couple of weeks. So the other switch, I need to bring it down. I need to clear this up here because I might build a little thing first. I can put the CB radio, like you know how I did one over the other like that. So I need to clean this up here. John Ludwig always did the opposite. Don't save money. I wish I did a lot better with money. No, this money I'm talking about is YouTube money. The YouTube, everybody, donations. especially from the last live stream that I did, 30-day event. That one I did raise, you know, it was a couple of $100, whatever. But you know what? I already spent almost half of it on the DP 666, so I still have a little bit left. Still have some, yeah, I still have enough left. I could have bought the mesh static, but you know what? I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait because I really want the coax. I need the coax now. I do have old coax, but I want to put brand new coax. So I have the coax, and then I'll get the headphones, and then I'll get the gimbal. I really wanted the gimbal. I really need the gimbal. I want the gimbal because I want to do a lot more walking videos outside. Even if I don't stream doing walking videos, I do want to record them. So that gimbal is gonna be, it'll help me out quite a bit. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So the gimbal is then. So I'm gonna order. I was looking at a couple of them last night, and I still looking at the one that because I also want to do rail fanning videos, and the gimbal does help for that. For example, when I'm on the platform of the train, and I have it on the tripod, and I put the gimbal. Well, the gimbal, there's a mount I think you can put on a tripod. Or even if I hold it, the one that has a small tripod. But anyway, the point is that, you know, when the train goes through the station, it vibrates. There's a lot of vibration. So when you have the gimbal, it's going to be a lot more stable with the gimbal. Without the gimbal, you will see a lot more vibration on the image. So I do want to do more rail fanning videos this summer. That's for my railroad channel. So my railroad channel is Danny Rail Fan. Danny Rail Fan, again, Danny Rail Fan, at Danny Rail Fan is in the, when you go into my home tab, it's at the bottom. All my channels are there. Danny Rail Fan is there. Yeah, I plan to do a railroad video. I plan to do some also transport videos. Like if I take some buses here and there, I plan to do those too. And I'm inside the bus. Also, you know, transport, you know, planes, trains, bus, things like that. We might go to Niagara Falls this summer. That's one road trip we might do. We might do Niagara Falls on a few days. So that's another one. Especially if I do the boating thing, I wanted to take the, you know, that's why I want a good gimbal. And then the next step is get a new camera, get a nice video camera. But let me see how the gimbal holds up with the phone. But I think I'm gonna have to step it up and get a camera. I'm looking at a few of them. I'm looking at a few of them out there. DJI makes a good video camera, small one. But we're talking about you know, now we're talking about $300 or $400 or something like that, or more, depending on the camera. And this is for outdoor stuff. This is not indoor stuff. Now the stuff that I do, like in the boiler room with the review, this is fine. This is fine for that. With the gooseneck mount, this is fine for that. I'm talking about when I'm outside and I'm walking. That's a whole nother animal. A lot of these phones, they don't. I went through a couple of them already. When it comes to those type of videos, even if you're not streaming, there's a lot of artifacting that goes on. You know, it's not. You need to step up. And also the gimbal helps. The gimbal does help with a lot of stabilization. This one, for example, has, you know, they have stabilization in it. It works okay. It's not the best. So that's why, you know, now I want my videography to go to the next level. That's why, you know, because you know, I want my, you're telling me I want my channel to grow. Exactly, I want my channel to grow. I'm at this point now that, you know what, yeah, I wanna get to 10,000 subscribers. I want to get, you know, I think at that point, at some point I will be there. You know, I know when you first start out, oh, I'm humble. Yeah, of course I'm always humble. I'm humble by, I just went over 6,000. But we're not done. I'm a long way from that. No, I have, and I got to give my other channel some love, you know. I got to give my other channel some love. I got my diecast metal collection. That one is approaching, what is it, 900 now, 60, whatever it is. I got models over there I got to review. You know, I just showed you one of them earlier, DHL right here. I just showed you this one, right? I just showed you this one. I got a few more I got to shoot over there. So, yeah, I got to step up, man. I got to step up. So I got to step up with some, you know, and, you know, because I enjoy this. I love what I do. I love streaming. I love talking to you guys. I love all this. I don't want to stop, you know. Right now, the other day, the company reached out to me and they said, you know, we want you to do railroad. You're going to be, I see you got rail car experience and you want to work out in Long Island and make 60, 80,000 a year. I said, no, thank you. I'm being serious. I could be making 60, 80K right now, people. I'm being serious. Of course, I would just have to get a room in Long Island just for my commute. I could be making some good bank. No, I love doing what I do. I love staying at home with my son. And I love doing this. And my son, he's at a point in his life he understands that now. He one day he wants to do this. And I want to show him you could do anything in life you want to do. If you love what you do, you could do anything in life. If you enjoy what you're doing, do what you do. I enjoy this. I enjoy this. I can see myself doing this for the next 30 years. If I live that long. But at least the next 10 years. I shouldn't say 30 years because that's a long way. That's a lot. That means I'll be like okay, in the next 10 years. I'm about to hit 10 years now, anniversary. I can see myself doing this 10 more years, easily. Easily. So that means I'll be in my 70, hitting on 70. I can see myself doing this. I enjoy doing this. Or I could be working for somebody, you know, commuting and not spending time with my son, and you won't see much of me after that. Man, you know, 60, 80,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? We have choices in life, people. You could live your life, or you could live the life you want to live, or you could live the life that you don't want to live because you have to. Okay, I get that. By the way, I get that too. People don't say, you know. But I'm in a place where I am fortunate that I can make that choice. Yeah, I got the other day, like, Danny, you interested in working for a rail car? It was in Long Island, and it's probably gonna be the M9. I'm pretty sure it was the M9 to do a warranty. They call warranty. You know, in Long Island, I would have been warranty technician or commissioning for the M9 in Long Island, for the Long Island Railroad. That's what that would have been. I already knew the job. And I said, no, I'm not interested. But thank you for asking me. You see? I want something closer. You know, a couple of years ago, I had one in Long Island City, and that's in Queens. And that was for the Amtrak, it was a baggage car and the dining car. It was an Italian company called CAF. It's an Italian company. They make those cars for the Amtrak. They make the baggage cars and the dining car. That's what they do. They do those 2 cars. And that job, of course, that job required, but that job required me to be there like 7 in the morning. I said, no, I can't do that. Not with the commute, because I don't drive. And even if I would drive, I'm not doing that driving with congestion, whatever. I'm not going through all that. So, commute time, I could have done it, but not at 7 o'clock in the morning to be there. Because over here in Yonkers, the Beeline is not 24/7. In New York City, everything's 24/7. In Yonkers, no. The Beeline, the first bus stops right here, 5:15 in the morning. So I'm already late. I will be already late. For 7 o'clock in Long Island City, I will be already late. That's too close. I said, no. I said, now, if you want me to come here at 8 o'clock, we got a deal. They said, nope. I said, well, then you know what? I can't take this job. That's it. And that job was paying, same thing, 60K. That job was 60K, whatever, That's it. And that job would have been from 7 in the morning. I would have left at 3. So it would have been a night shift, but 7 in the morning is, they didn't want to be flexible with me. I said, no, 8 o'clock. If I could be at 8 o'clock, I'm good. He said, no, you got to be at 7. I said, well, then I can't. That's it. And yeah, I made that choice because I can't make that choice. I'm not gonna compromise. Because a big thing about all this is, yeah, and maybe I'm wired differently, but I went through this in my 20s. That I was not going to let, because I saw the end result of it. I was not going to be like a robot where every freaking day, 5 days, 6 days, very little vacation, just to keep up with living. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's not what I don't want to go through life like that. And I made that choice. And let me say something. I left a lot of money on the table. I left a lot of money on the table because of that choice. Because of that life. I left a lot of money on the table. And I don't regret it. Because if I would have chose that route, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here. Because my health would have really deteriorated. My mental health would have been gone. My physical health, who knows? I wouldn't be here. Because that's what happened to my brothers. That's what happened to both of my brothers. They worked until they died. They didn't even get to enjoy retirement. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do that. I said, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it as best as I can. And if God give me the opportunity to do this, I'm going to take this. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to try. Because if you don't, baby says, if you don't try, you ain't going to know. That's it. You're not going to know. It's easy to not try. Say, I don't want to try something like, starting your own business and fail. Well, at least you try it and you fail. And you can learn from failure. Failure is good in terms of learning. It is good. You have to learn from failure. But if you don't try, then you're never gonna. You just, you have to try. And that's a metaphor for everything in life. Andy, hello, Andy. Danny, I just got back from dinner. Whoa, the Knicks are beating up on the Hawks. Nice, yeah, very nice. I'm not following the NBA yet because it's still early, and I don't want to put too much hopes on the Knicks. I really hope they do move on, and I would like to see them win a championship before my lifetime. Last time they won, I was like a toddler. So I would love to see the Knicks win one. I already saw the Rangers win one. I already saw that one. That one I got to witness. The Giants, I saw Giants win a few of them. I would like to see the Jets win one, and I would like to see the Knicks win one in my lifetime. Of course, the Mets, I already saw the Mets win. So I remember that one. 86. Before that, it was, I was a toddler. So, yeah. So I would like to see I'm rooting for them. I would like to see them win one before I'm gone. John Ludbrooks, yeah, already time getting to me. Been out for 3 hours and 25 minutes right now. Boom. Another live stream here. Did you know about amateur radio? Yeah, I know Amateur World Radio Day. These young guys in the UK done a YouTube video, 145 live. Done another. Excuse me, sorry. Let me read that again. Yeah, I know about Amateur Radio World Day. It was just the other day. These young guys in the UK done a YouTube video, 145 alive. It looked like a lot of fun. Young DX was a good day, and a lot of young people interested in DX around the world. Yeah, I know it happens every year. Using a clear frequency just for the day. Yeah, I know. I saw it. I didn't talk about it, but I saw it. Yeah, amateur rate. Yeah, that's great. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I hope I'm rooting for the Knicks. I hope they it's gonna be tough though, because the Eastern Conference is tough. There's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference. Western one, not so much. I mean, of course, you have Oklahoma City. They are the NBA champs. But Eastern Conference is tough. It's tough. I know Boston is gonna remember that one, so they're definitely gonna be they have an axe to grind now. But yeah, I don't follow it until they get to like the conference final. I don't follow it like I used to, but yeah. All right, so I'm going to sign off now. I just want to say thank you everybody for watching. Been on for 3 hours and 27 minutes. That's a nice live stream here. Like I said, I don't plan these live streams. I just come on. I figure let me come on today for. I don't know if I'm gonna be on tomorrow, but I'm gonna see if I can try to be on this weekend, weather permitting. Because I go by with weather. I go by what I'm gonna do during the day. I know my wife is gonna be. She works this weekend, so I'll probably be on this weekend. Because she's going to be working this weekend, so I don't know which day yet or what time. And I don't know if I might do a Dr. Sky on alternate. Either I'll do tomorrow night, Friday night, or I'll do Saturday, or I just do both Dr. Sky and nothing else in between. Or I'll do a long live stream, and we'll see. I do this day by day, so that's why I don't schedule it. I know I should, but I find scheduling to be very. The problem with scheduling is that it's just, yeah, it's like you what's the word? You have to do more planning. I don't want it to be like that. I made it clear and I did the whole every Wednesday. That didn't work out too well, so that's why I know that kind of sucks for some. Some people say, and I know, believe me, I know. I watch all these videos on if you want to be a successful, you need to be regularly. No, I just can't do that. It's a mental thing. I just can't. I'm not built that way. I can't do every Friday, every Saturday. I can't do that. I feel like that's more of a recipe for burnout. You know, I did that 30 light live stream, and I thought I was gonna take a long break, but no. Within a few days, I was ready to come back. But I come back in a way that I can come back in, and plus, you know, we do have, in my case, you know, I have other things I have to do. So, but I'll try to be on this weekend, and then of course, we got May, and we got this, you know, FMDX season now. So that's why I want to get my third coax up there with you. I want to have that one ready. You know, I had this. I do tune the radio up. I had it on last night. I did a quick band scan, but nothing really stood out. So, yeah, FMDX. Now the weather's warmer. I've been trying to do 10 meters lately, FTA, and 10 meters is dead now. 10 meters is. So any amateur radio on 10 meters right now, I haven't nothing. I'm not getting anything now. So as you can see, so right now of course when we get sporadic key, I may get 6 meters. So I need to be on the lookout for that too. But right now conditions hasn't been the best here for, you know, 10 meters, even 10 right now, like I say, even 10 meters, but. And I'm, like I said, I'm also doing non-radio stuff. I'm getting ready to. We already have we already planted a few things, but the weather here has been crazy. You know, now finally, at night it stays in the 50s. So now, probably after this weekend or during the weekend, I'll plant all the other stuff in the raised bed. I have tomatoes. I have peppers. I want to plant. We already germinated some in pots, and they're already growing. But the ones on the raised bed, I'm just going to put them in the raised bed. And then, so we got that. Yeah, so getting ready for summer. And you saw in the Home Depot, I bought, that's what we went there. I bought some more soil. It was on. They had a nice sale. I bought some mulch for my Colorado spruce, so I'm gonna put mulch around it now. I'm gonna decorate it real nice. I want to put flowers around it and things like that. So, the green thumb. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. And thank you for watching.